you are joining as a group probably that will approach 1,500 students, 1,500. So if you are 1,500 strong, right, strong, what percentage are you of the 17,000 students? Come on, who's good in math? Quick, quick, quick. Huh? Somewhere between 8 to 10%, yeah, somewhere in there. I guess, I don't know. But that is a high percentage. And this morning, we're all sitting together. You are a group of the international student community. So we have about somewhere between 400 and 500 of you joining for the first time today. So you're part of a 500 student group joining Wright State University as international students. Last year, the international students profile was that about, it represented 66 countries. So although we have a lot of people from India this morning and some of the other countries, there are actually 66 different countries represented by all of the international students here at Wright State University. So you are strong as a group. If you want to have subgroups, you can have subgroups. We do have some individual student organizations like the Indian Student Association. We have a Saudi Arabian Student Association and a few other groups. So we encourage you to make those groups. You have to do it through the Student Activities Office. And I think you'll have some presentations later today from some of the folks who represent the way that you organize your groups. Welcome to more Indians. So I think as a group, you do represent a certain strength, but you can also form individual groups to have some of your own community contacts among people from your own culture. But at the same time, we don't encourage you just to insulate yourself in student groups. We want you to join American groups as well. And the best way to do that is through...
Sorry, we need to start staff introduction.
Okay. The best way to do that is through joining the groups that are in your own academic organization. So keep all these things in mind as you begin your program here. And I've been told that my time is up, so this is going to be a meet and greet with the staff from UCIE, starting with the director of UCIE.
Steve, you also need to give that other thing. That's on
Right. Yeah. If not, I'll stay next to you, Steve. Good morning, everyone. I'm Michelle Streeter-Fry. I'm director of the UCIE. And I have to say, I'm speechless. I'm just looking at all of you, and I'm just so thrilled to see such a large room of new international students that are here to internationalize our campus, our classrooms. We just are so thrilled to have each one of you here, and are just so happy that you chose Wright State University. This is going to be the largest group of international students we've ever had on our campus. It's our dream to see so many of you here, and just provide such a wonderful opportunity for our American students to interact with a part of your world. And please do that. Share parts of your culture and your history, your food with our American students as much as possible. The one thing I really wanted to say as well is UCIE is your home away from home. We're all here to help you and answer any questions that you have. We always have, like Steve mentioned, coffee hours, field trips, and programs for you to get involved with. But anytime you want to just come in, we're there for you, and we're there to welcome you and make you feel at home. So welcome to all of you, and I'll pass the mic on to our other staff. Have you introduced yourselves?
No, we can
Okay.
start with them.
Oh, this is complicated. Okay.
Oh, it is. Oh, sorry. Which part are you talking to?
Let me just leave this here.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kim Fritz, and
I'm overwhelmed, just like Michelle, to see all your smiling faces. I'm one of the immigration team here. I probably signed many of your I-20s. They probably say Kim Fritz on it. So I want to take this opportunity to welcome you all to Wright State. And as she said, if there's anything that I can do to make your stay easier, more relaxing, even more fun, because even though we're here to learn, we want this to be a fun experience for you. Okay. Like I said, I just want to welcome you. My name is Kim Fritz. If there's anything I can do to make this a more pleasant stay, please don't hesitate to contact me. Welcome.
How do I do this?
Talking to that part.
Okay. Sorry, I'm new at this. Hello. My name is Megan Trickler, and I also work at the UCIE, and I'm part of a different team, and we promote study abroad. So we work very hard to get students that primarily American students, but any student who's interested in going to another country and getting them interested in other countries in the world and other cultures, and giving them the opportunity to go to other universities, other countries, and to study while they're there and come back and enrich the students that are here about their experiences. They're very interested in learning about other countries, learning other languages, and so I hope that you can integrate with the students that are already here and teach them more about your culture. And I'm excited that you're all here. It's a very big day. It's exciting for you, and you'll have a wonderful time here at Wright State. Thank you. All right, I don't know, hold both of those and this. Yeah.
Good morning. Which one? Both? Good morning. Okay, that was good. Hi, my name is Des, and I'm the ISS records technician for UCIE. I'm very excited to see all of you here. I was an undergrad here, and now I'm working with UCIE. I'll be a grad student starting this semester too, so we're going to be in this together. If you have any questions, you can stop me anywhere. I'll be glad to help any of you. I hope you have a great time here at Wright State. For those of you who speak French, je vous souhaite la bienvenue. Vous aussi, si vous parlez Zarma? The guy from Mali, do you speak Zarma? French? All right. Welcome, everyone.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wright State. My name is Namrata. I met most of you at check-in, and if I've not met you, I'm going to see you again during the semester. As Des mentioned, that I'm also a grad student, so I will be with you in the same boat as all of you will be studying here. I was in your seats 3 years back, so I totally understand what you are feeling right now. Please don't feel overwhelmed. First 2 or 3 weeks you will be feeling like there's something new, but then you will get used to it. I hope you all enjoy your stay here. And if during the semester, if you want to do any fun activities, like if you want to have a soccer game, a volleyball game, or host an activity for international students or domestic students, please stop by the UCI office and meet one of the GAs. That would be myself, Dami, and Daveen. Any one of us can help you with that. Welcome to Wright State.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Dami. I'm one of the other graduate assistants for UCIE. First, I want to say welcome. It's a pleasure meeting most of you, and I know I will get to know a whole lot more of you as the semester goes on. We have, like Nam says, we have a couple of events, fun events. It's not all about studying. We want you to study too, but at the same time, we want you to have fun while doing it. That's why, we've organized a couple of events for you. The first one is going to be on Saturday. It's called Kings Island. I don't know, has anybody ever heard of Kings Island? Yeah, I didn't think so. But we don't have, like Disneyland, so this is the closest thing that we have to that. And we have the events on Saturday. It's $25, which, we're giving it a discount because the regular price is $40. And I'm just going to show you a brief clip of what Kings Island actually is about.
Yeah.
All right, I can hear the excitement already. So basically, this is just a brief, idea of what Kings Island is about. If you're interested in going, please let me know. We'll also pass out some welcome packets later on, and it has information on how you can pay. You can only make a payment online. I'm an international student, like all of you guys. I'm from Nigeria, and on that final note, I would like to say a cabo. Welcome to Wright State.
Morning. Good, that sounds a little bit like you're waking up. Well, I'm sorry I missed the introduction, so just very briefly, I'm Claudia Espinosa. I met some of you at check-in, some of you I didn't, so the ones who already heard it, I'm sorry, but I'm going to give you my little piece of advice. Look around you, you'll see a lot of Indian students. Probably if you are from Saudi Arabia or Kuwait, you also have a lot of friends from your area. Please try to make friends from other parts of the world. You have come a long way. You are spending a lot of money, not just for the academics. The academics is the number one, of course, it's a priority. But this experience is going to be richer, as long as you decide to branch out, to meet new people, to, network with American students and other international students. And those people are going to be your friends maybe for a lifetime, and maybe your future professional associates, So do not dismiss the opportunity of doing other things and meeting people from other parts of the world, okay? Welcome and enjoy the orientation session today.
Good morning, everyone. I am Kim Brunball, and I am one of the immigration specialists here at Wright State, together with Steve and Kim Fritz, the other Kim that spoke earlier. You're going to get a lot of information today. Unfortunately, it's really compressed, and there's going to be a lot of information. What I'm going to talk about, though, is your visa and immigration regulations, and obviously that's one of the more important things because we need to keep you in status. So if you have not done so already, you need to check into the UCIE. You need your passport, visa, I-20, and the I-94 now, whether electronic or a stamp. If you have not checked in, we do not have check-in today, but we'll have check-in tomorrow at 9 a.m., actually 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. So anybody that has not checked in, please go ahead and do that. Full-time registration. All international students have to be full-time both fall semester and spring semester. For undergrads, that's 4 classes, so you have to have 12 hours. And for grad students, that's 2 classes, which is 6 hours. You can go over that, but you have to have that minimum. If you cannot be full-time for any reason, you have to come see me, let me know, and we'll see what we can do to get that approved for you. You must be registered by the end of the first week of classes. So by next Friday, you have to be registered full-time. That's when I start pulling registration lists and registering you in the SEVIS system. So please make sure you're registered full-time by next Friday. Reduced course load. There are legitimate reasons why international students can have reduced course loads. For instance, if it's your final term and you only have 1 class to take or 1 credit hour to take, I'm not going to make you be full-time. That's a legitimate reason to have a lesson full-time. Same thing with thesis or continuing registration. If you're working on dissertation or a thesis and you've taken all those hours, we can get you a reduced course load. These 2 are very important. These next 2, the English issues and the English issues. If you're having problems your first semester here, you need to let me know right away. If you're having problems with U.S. teaching methods, if you're having a little problem with your English and being able to, comprehend and get through your courses, you need to let me know right away, because there is the possibility of getting a reduced course load your first semester here if you're having English difficulties, and if you talk to your professor and, get with me, we can get a reduced course load for that. So please don't let it go too long, because then we can't drop your classes and get the reduced course load. So please, if you're having any difficulties in the first couple weeks, come see me or email me. Concurrent enrollment, if there's classes you need to take at a certain time, prereqs or anything like that, and you need to take them at another school, that's fine. You would not have to be full-time here. You just have to have full-time between the two schools. Illness, if you know you have an accident or you get very sick or something like that, obviously we would do medical documentation, but that is a legitimate reason for a reduced course load. And then vacation term. The normal vacation term is summer, so you go full-time fall, full-time spring, and then summer's your normal vacation. If there's classes you want to take full-time for summer, you can take a vacation during spring or fall. Okay, so it's not set in stone that you have to do that in summer semester. And then LOA stands for leave of absence. If for some reason you need to go to your home country for a semester, if somebody's getting married, if you have an illness in your family that you need to attend to, a parent or something like that, we can give you a leave of absence for the entire semester and keep your immigration status valid. Changes. You must notify the UCIE of any changes in either your personal information, for instance, if your name changes and you get married, or if your name is incorrect on your I-20 currently, please let us know that. It is according to your passport, but if you've changed your passport or something, we can get that changed and updated for you. Your academic status, if you're changing major, if you're changing your education level, for instance, you graduate with your master's and you want to go to a PhD, or termination of studies. If you're not interested in studying here or leaving the United States, we need to know that as well. And then change of status. If after you graduate, you get a work visa or something like that, you need to let us know that as well. And then transfer. If you end up wanting to go to another university because there's a different program or something like that, we can help you do that. Addresses. You must have a local address in the WING system before I can register you in SEVIS. So most of you wrote it down on the yellow sheets when you checked in. That's not good enough. You still have to put it in the WING system. If you have any problems or your address is not going into the system, just let us know. But you have to have a local physical address. It can't be a post office box. It has to be where you live. Your international address, so your home country international address, is a locked field in the system because it's required by SEVIS. So if you need to change that address, because you have to have an international address as well in the system. So if you need to change that, you just need to email me and I can update that for you because it's a locked field. It is your responsibility to keep all your visa-related documents current. Everybody in here should be either on an I-20 or a DS 2019, and they both have end dates, program end dates on them. If you're not going to finish your program by the end date on that document, you have to let us know at least a month in advance. Because after that, it's very difficult to get it updated. So as long as you tell us in a month in advance and there's paperwork involved, we can get that extended for you. We understand that, sometimes bad grades force you to repeat classes, that type of thing, or thesis sometimes takes longer, so we can definitely extend your program, but we have to know beforehand. The 6 months validity on your passport is an immigration regulation. You need to keep 6 months on your passport at all times. I cannot sign your I-20 for you to travel home if you don't have 6 months on your passport. That's there because a lot of countries it takes a lot longer to get your passport renewed. So you need to make sure you always have 6 months of validity on your passport. Bills. You must pay your school bills on time. That's a part of your visa regulations because it affects your registration, it affects your status. So make sure to pay bills. There are payment plans available, things like that. So just if you have any questions, let us know. Working on campus. International students can only work 20 hours on campus during school. So anytime school is in session, you can only work 20 hours. That's for student employment or if you're on a graduate assistantship. It's still only 20 hours. You can work 40 hours during breaks, for instance, winter break or summer break. and that's a combination of all jobs. So if you have a couple different jobs on campus, you can still only work 20 hours. If you fill out the time card and it's over 20 hours, it automatically comes to me and you're in trouble with immigration. That's a serious violation of your immigration regulations. You're here to study first. That has to be your main concern. So the 20 hours of work has to be subsidiary to that. Another thing I want to bring up right now is working off campus. We've already had some issues seeing students applying for jobs off campus. It is against your immigration regulations. It is a serious violation, and if we find it, you're going to be terminated right away, because it is a very serious immigration violation. We've seen some students applying at gas stations across the street. I'm sorry, but you cannot work off campus without prior authorization from me. After you've been here for 9 months, you can legally work off campus in what's called a curricular practical training. It's an internship program, but up until then, you can only work on campus, okay? So I don't want to terminate anyone. I want everybody to understand this. It's a very serious immigration violation, and we just want you to know what's going to happen, because it is serious. Insurance. If you've already registered for classes, you've noticed that insurance automatically gets billed to your account. It's billed every fall semester, and then during spring semester, it's billed for spring and summer. The only people that don't have that are sponsor students, so that's an automatic bill on your account. Ask questions. Please, please, please do not take immigration advice from your seniors. They think they know it all and they don't. So, I mean, I go to classes all the time. Steve goes to classes. We get, weekly updates from USCIS and Immigrations and Customs Enforcement. So we know your immigration regulations better than your seniors do, better than your friends do. So please get the correct information from us. Don't make any important decisions without consulting us. We do understand that things come up and maybe you have to, emergency and you need to leave or something like that. Just shoot us an email just so we know what's going on and we can keep you in status. That's our number one priority, is to make sure you guys, are doing your job, working on your degrees, and that we keep you in status. That's very important. There are no quick questions, so please don't stop us in the hall and say, I just have a quick question, because 9 times out of 10 we need to see your immigration, your visa case in front of us. We need to see who we're talking to. So the best way to do it is just to email us. Both Kim and I are very, up to date on our emails and answer emails at all times of the day and night sometimes. So if you have a quick question, just shoot us an email. Steve prefers appointments and email as well. While we're on the topic of your Wright State email, you are responsible for your Wright State email. So I know everybody has Google accounts, AOL, Hotmail, whatever it is, but you're responsible for the information in your Wright State account. So if you don't want to use it, that's fine. You can have your Wright State account forwarded to your Gmail or Hotmail or whatever. But CATS can help you with that, or some of the GAs can help you with that, but you are responsible for that information. All of your bills, all the information from our office, all the information from your teachers will go to that account. So you need to keep that account active and looking at it. This is just a quick rundown of what the Immigration and Student Scholar Services takes care of. I'm the first Kim on the left, and I take care of travel, so when you want to travel home, I will sign travel signatures. I do program extensions, so if you're not going to finish your program in time, I'll take care of that. Reduce course loads. Anytime you can't be full-time, I will help you fill out the appropriate paperwork for that. Change of major or new degrees. And then spouse-dependent I-20s. If you have a spouse at home that you want to now bring, I can help you with that. And then transfer out. If you're going to transfer out of Wright State, I can help you do that. Kim Fritz, the other Kim that was here, will be taking care of work authorizations. She will also be doing CPT, which is the internship program, and OPTs. Steve takes care of reinstatements, so if for some reason you do get in trouble and I put you out of status, Steve will help you get back in status. And then he also does J1 student and scholar advising. So any of the J1 students that are exchange students, he takes care of you. And then Des, who was here, who was speaking French, he is our records tech, and he's going to be doing all the intake of documents, and he's going to be helping you with anything else you need here. So welcome. For the Indian students, Namaskaram. That's about all I know. And we're so glad to have you here. I know this was a lot of information. I will be at lunch today and mingling around. I will accept, quick questions today, but after that, just shoot me an email. I'd be glad to help you. Thank you and have a great day.
All right, everyone, our next presenter is here. We have Volita Wilhoit from the Office of Student Judicial Services. She's going to talk about the things you should definitely know to remain as a F1 student here and the things about Wright State University student conduct policies. So let's welcome her.
Do you want to pull up your website while you introduce yourself? Would you please? Yeah, thank you.
Good morning. More information for you, and I would ask that you listen carefully. I'm from the Office of Judicial Affairs. Now, we used to be called Judicial Affairs, but we are now called the Office of Community Standards and Student Conduct. Our mission is still the same, but we wanted to get away from students thinking that, we were a legal office. As students here to the university, we ask that you abide by our community standards. We try to provide a safe campus for you. We have campus police. We ask that you behave in a civil manner, that you're polite, that you're respectful of the rights of others, and that is the community standard piece. Even though you may not live on campus, you still have to abide by the student code of conduct. This is our website. You can familiarize yourself with that. The second part of what we do, which is the most important part, which I would focus on today, is academic integrity. I want you to be familiar with plagiarism and collaboration. Those two terms. Understand exactly what that is, what constitutes plagiarism, what constitutes collaboration. We do have issues with that with students. I'm assuming that you understand it, but if you do not, plagiarism, if you are writing a paper, you use another source, you must cite that source. If you students like to cut and paste, you can cut and paste, but you must cite that source. If you use another one of your papers from a previous class, your own work, you must cite that source. You must cite yourself. If you are not sure what constitutes plagiarism, when to cite a source, cite it anyway. If it's an internet source, if it's not your own words, you must cite that. Please make sure you understand that clearly, because that can cause problems. Professors use a site called turnitin.com, and they will run your paper through there for a similarity index. If your similarity index is at a certain percent, that means that you have not cited your sources properly, and you will be found responsible for plagiarism. Collaboration. You are allowed to collaborate, but understand how you can collaborate on an assignment. Sometimes the professors will tell you you can collaborate on part of it. Group assignments are fine. It's a good learning tool, and there may be another part of the assignment that you cannot collaborate on it. Understand clearly what the rules are or the requirements for collaboration. Professors have the academic integrity policy on their syllabus. They all go over it at the beginning of class. I would encourage you to listen very carefully, ask questions. Do not ask your fellow students about what plagiarism or collaboration is, because you might get some misinformation. The only source you should go to is your professor. If you have to go to your professor more than one time, do that. Prior to any assignment, if he tells you what you're allowed to do as far as working together, make sure you understand what he is saying to you. Make sure the students in your group understand what has been said to them so that you won't be found responsible for academic dishonesty. If you are found responsible, a professor, you turn in an assignment and a professor calls you in. It could be a take-home exam, it could be a homework assignment, it could be a project. You discuss what occurred. If he finds that you are responsible for that violation, he has the option of giving you a 0 for the assignment, an F for the course, or your professor can refer it to an academic integrity hearing panel. Once that happens, you will have to go before a panel and discuss what happened. At that point, an additional sanction will occur. For a first violation, typically it affects your grade. For a second violation, you can possibly be suspended from the university. You do not want this to happen because it affects your student status. For a third violation, you can be expelled. If you're expelled, that goes on your transcript permanently. It will follow you, and you will have difficulties getting into another university. Sometimes, unfortunately, we do have students who reach that third step. That's why we try to educate everybody about academic dishonesty so that we will not have these issues. Again, the most important thing to do is understand whatever your professor puts in your syllabus about the rules regarding academic integrity. Make sure you understand it. If you have to go in and talk to your professor as a group, do that. Do not assume that you understand what the policy is. Sometimes students just unknowingly will commit acts of academic integrity, and we are here to educate. What are the sanctions that may occur if you're found responsible of academic dishonesty? We have an ethics workshop that we hold for students, again, for education purposes. It's a 6-week course. It needs 2 hours a day, and we talk about making choices and decisions and how to avoid these pitfalls that some students unfortunately get caught up in when it comes to the academic dishonesty. I think for the most part, students may do it unknowingly, may do it because they don't understand what's involved in that. And, all I can tell you, what I can keep reiterating is to ask questions. Number one. Number two, do not go to the upperclassmen, other students, because you may not get the correct information. And don't be afraid to ask questions. A lot of students are. I don't want my professor to think that, I'm stupid, that type of thing. Your professor won't think that. Your professor will respect you for coming and asking. Again, you can call them, you can email them. If you are in the middle of a project and you have some doubts as to, what you're doing as far as working together, contact your professor immediately. It will save you in the long run. We want everybody to have a good educational experience here at Wright State. My office is located in 022 Student Union. If anybody has any questions about this policy, you can stop in and see me. We have these brochures. I know you can't see it in the back. It's a student's guide to academic integrity. We have these in our office. I can also make sure that there are some of these in the UCIE office. And stop by and see us. 022 Student Union is where I'm located. And one more thing. Anyone that's in the College of Engineering, if you are found responsible for an academic integrity violation, there may be additional actions that may be taken against you through the College of Engineering. So, again, be careful. Come and see me, Valita Wilhoit, 022 Student Union, if you'd like to talk. I'm not trying to scare anybody here, but it's very important. It's important to us that you do not engage in these violations, and we want it to become important to you, okay? So that's it.
Brian Hamilton from the College of Engineering. Although he's from the College of Engineering, the comments that he has to share with you are relevant to all the students from the different disciplines, all the different academic disciplines. So he'll be talking about classroom expectations, professors' expectations in the classroom, and sharing with you information about how the grading system works here, and just, concerns that you might have about how to be successful in the classroom. Now, there are some students who are undergraduate students here as well today, and this information is relevant to you as well, but you won't be doing thesis. So when he talks about thesis, you probably won't be doing that, but everything else will be relevant to the undergraduate students as well. So, Ryan, we're glad to have you this morning, and then I don't know if you want to take a minute to get wired up, or
I'm good.
you want to hold it then?
Oh, no, I'm loud enough, I don't need it.
No, I think we will need it, yeah. So, I don't know if you want to walk around the front or walk around behind.
I'll probably just stay back here.
Okay.
I'll just hold it. All right, thanks, Steve.
This goes too.
Okay. A lot of stuff.
Cramping your style here with all the gizmos.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. All right. So, like Steve said, I'm one of the academic advisors here at Wright State. Your academic advisor is a pretty important person. We're kind of your first point of contact for most things.
You have to use both microphones.
Oh, I got to use both of them? Yeah. Where's the second one?
You thought this presentation was going to be easy.
Yep. Where's the second one? No?
Oh, here, it's hanging right here.
Oh, okay.
The other one is
Oh, okay, the
overflow.
itty-bitty one. Okay.
Yeah, both of them.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry. All right. So your academic advisor is a pretty important person here for your time at Wright State. We are kind of your first place to go if you got a question, and that's what we're here for. Real quick, if you're an undergrad, most of you will probably start in university college. A few of you, if you're engineering, will be in the engineering college. The biggest thing is to figure out, well, where is my advisor? For undergraduate students, if you're in university college, there's the phone number. If you're in engineering, there's the phone number for the engineering. Most business students will start in university college. Science and math, education, liberal arts, there they are. But most undergrads will start in university college. All right. If you're not sure, well, what college am I in, and you're an undergraduate, if you go into Wings Express, go to your registration records tab, and look at your unofficial academic transcript. You'll pull up something and it'll look like this at the very top. It'll have your UID number, it'll have your name, and then down at the bottom there, if you notice, it says program, business intending. College, university college. So this student is in university college. They're a business major, but they're in university college, all right? So if you're an undergrad and you're not sure, this is how to go and check, okay? That'll tell you where to go. Now, if you're a graduate student, you need to contact your department office, all right? If you're an electrical engineering student, chances are you've already met me, I'm your advisor. If you are, for example, a biomedical engineering major, you are assigned a faculty advisor, all right? If you don't know who your advisor is, you should have gotten with your admissions letter a note about who your advisor is. If you don't know, go to your department office. Walk in and say, hey, I'm a new graduate student. I'm trying to figure out who is my advisor, okay? Some programs, like I said, one for me, some do it otherwise. Most of you, if you are a graduate student, you will start out with one advisor who is assigned. If you do a thesis, some programs require a thesis, some do not. You will have a thesis advisor. As a first-term graduate student, if you're thinking about doing thesis or if your program requires you to do a thesis, what you need to do is go around and meet the faculty members in your department. As you meet the faculty members in your department, you can send them emails, introduce yourself, say, hey, I'm a new grad student. I'm thinking of doing thesis. Would you be willing to meet with me? And go and meet the faculty. Kind of get a feel for them. If you do a thesis, you will have a thesis advisor. In some departments, your thesis advisor becomes your total academic advisor. In others, you'll still have an advisor plus a thesis advisor. So check with your department. If you haven't stopped in to see your department, you need to kind of go do that as a grad student, all right? Because as a grad student, you're kind of expected to do a little bit more. You're expected to take more of the initiative to reach out, okay? Now, what does your academic advisor do? Your academic advisor is there to help you understand your degree requirements. Especially at the graduate level, there can be a lot of options. In electrical engineering, we have 12 different ways you can complete our degree. So every program has variations. So check, your advisor will help you figure that out. What are the required courses? What courses do you really need? You know, they'll help you pick the appropriate classes that you have the prerequisites for. You know, coming into graduate school, everybody's undergraduate was different. So there may be certain things in your undergraduate that you had plenty of that you don't need to do anymore as a grad student. There may be some things that you missed as an undergraduate that you need to pick up as a grad student. Okay? So everybody's going to have different requirements, and your advisor is there to help you find the appropriate classes. Your advisor is also there to help you find other resources. If you don't know where to find something, you know, for example, well, how do I go get help with writing? You know, your advisor is there to help you with that. You know, say you get an internship. Okay, what kind of paperwork do I have to do to make sure my visa stays in status? Your advisor can help you with that. The advisor is kind of the place to start if you have big general questions. If you don't know where to go to your advisor. Your advisor is there to help you. We want to make sure you graduate and are successful. Because the more successful you are upon graduation, the more likely you are to donate some money to Wright State when we send you a letter in a few years saying, hey, remember the good times, remember that good job you got now? Give us some money to help some other students. All right? So kind of there's your first stop for information. All right? Now, there are a couple things your advisor will not do. We will not tell you what are the easiest classes. That's not why we're here. Easy is relative. You know, for some people, one thing is very easy. For others, it's not. You know, if you come to me and you say, hey, what's the easiest class? I'm going to look at you and I'm going to say, well, here, take this advanced math class. You may hate math. I love math. Likewise, I hate English. You know, I cannot write to save myself. There's a reason I'm in engineering. You know, so easy is different for everybody. Your advisor will not say, hey, these are the easiest classes. What your advisor will do is they will help you figure out the most appropriate schedule. You know, a lot of times, because I know a good chunk of you are electrical engineering students, we say, hey, just do 2 classes. Your advisor will help you figure out the appropriate load for your first term. Your success is important to your advisor. We want you to be successful, particularly if you are a grad student who is conditionally admitted. You know, you need to make sure you are not biting off more than you can chew. We won't tell you the easiest classes, but we'll help you fix a schedule that is appropriate. We also don't override an instructor's decision. If an instructor says you cannot take my course, your advisor cannot override that. We cannot override grades. If your instructor says you're getting an F, we cannot override that. Nobody can override an instructor's grade. All right? It is what it is. All right? Those are some things we cannot do. Some things you can do to help your advisor out. Check your Wright State Raider mail regularly. That's the mail that when you pull up Wings, you can click on the little email icon and it'll be there. If you do that, that is where most stuff gets sent out. Departments will keep a mailing list and they will send it to the Wright State email address. Everybody has a Wright State email address and that's where it goes. This morning myself, I sent out an email to the Wright State email address for everybody. Okay? So you need to check that because that's likely how your advisor will get a hold of you. Or if your department needs to send out information, it'll come through the Wright State email address. Okay? So you can check that. Another thing you can do to help yourself and your fellow students. There are a lot of you in here today, right? We know there's a lot of you. One thing, and this is kind of an engineering thing, I know we've got a lot of engineers in here, so we're going to talk about it. When you pick classes, picking classes here at Wright State is probably different than what you are used to. We have class size limits. You know, we are limited to the number of students who can enroll in a class by the room. So if you register, and I see students doing this, for 6 courses, and they know they're not going to take 6 courses. Don't register for 6 courses and say, hey, I'm going to try them all out and see which ones I like best. At Wright State, that actually hurts your classmates. Because if you are taking a seat in a class and you don't intend to stay in it, it blocks somebody else from registering for it. because I have a lot of EE students, and I'm seeing this with CEG students. I hear it from their advisors. I hear it from all the engineering graduate advisors. Our students are registering for 6 courses, and they're blocking other students out. Please don't do that. You're hurting your fellow students, all right? If you're in a course and you know you're likely not going to take it, don't hold that registration spot. It blocks someone else, okay? So those are kind of the things that your advisor will do. One of the other big things that your advisor does is we keep track of your GPA. Wright State, we use the GPA system. I know a lot of you are probably used to using a percentage system. We use grade point average here. GPA is grade point average. Each letter grade you get is worth a certain amount of points. A is the best, that's worth 4 points. A actually means excellent. B means good, that's 3 points. C is average. D is below average. F is failure, and there's an X grade. And there's also a W and a P. X means you didn't even bother to go to class. Nobody in here should get an X grade, all right? You've all got a university degree, so you should be able to handle yourself well enough that you don't register for a class and not go. W grade means withdraw. We'll talk about it a little bit. And a P grade means pass. Some courses are graded pass-fail. As a graduate student, if you take thesis hours or dissertation hours, if you're doing a PhD, you'll have thesis and dissertation hours that are pass-fail. Likewise, if you have to do a seminar class, those are pass-fail. W and pass-fail does not count in your grade point average. The other ones do. So let's kind of take a look. Some of the other grades, there's pass again. U is unsatisfactory. If you do thesis and you don't do any work, your thesis advisor will likely give you a U grade. That means unsatisfactory. It doesn't count in your GPA. I've got to change that. It says counts as F, but it doesn't count as F. This one's a little bit old. It doesn't affect it, but it's not good to have those on there, because when people look at you for a job or for possible thesis work, if you've got U's on there, that's not a good sign. There's the W. That means withdraw. If you are taking a class and you realize, hey, this class is not appropriate for me, I do not have the prerequisite material, talk to your advisor. Maybe a withdrawal from the class is appropriate. As an international student, you have to make sure you stay in visa status, so sometimes you may not be able to take the W. There's a K grade, where if that second week of classes you decide, no, the class isn't for me, and you drop it then, you get a K. K doesn't show up on your transcripts, it doesn't count in your GPA. There's the X, that's the unofficial withdrawal. You should never get an X. You know, you guys are grad students, you've graduated with a degree already once, so you should know better time management skills. There's an incomplete grade on there. If something happens, you have an accident, there's a family emergency, you have to return home. You can talk to your instructors about taking an incomplete. Incomplete, there's an incomplete contract you have to fill out. It's only in extreme circumstances that a faculty member will give you an I grade, okay? Now, GPA hours. Each class is worth a certain amount of credit hours. Some are worth more than others. The more hours a class is worth, the more that grade affects your GPA. So let's say, for example, you're an engineering student, you take these courses, all right? You take engineering, 5350, you get a B, that's 3 credit hours. You take electrical engineering, 7410, you get a C, that's 4 hours. You take industrial engineering, 6420, you get an A, that's 1 hour, all right? As a graduate student, you are expected to maintain a 3.0 GPA. As an undergraduate student, you have to maintain a 2.0 GPA, all right? And if you do not meet the minimum GPA requirements, there is the possibility you will be dismissed from the university, right? Particularly if you're a graduate student, and even if you're an undergraduate. You know, if you do not maintain it in your first term, you will be placed on what's called probation. Probation is a serious warning. If after your second term you still have not met the minimum GPA requirements, you will likely be dismissed, okay? So it's important that you maintain grades. Now these grades on this schedule, you say, okay, well that's a B, a C, and an A. You know, so that should be good. But GPA is about credit hours. That B is 3 points, it's in a 3-hour course. C is 2 points, it's in a 4-hour course. A is 4 points, it's in a 1-hour course. So we take the points for the grade, we multiply it by the credit hour. That gives us something called the total quality points. In this case, if this was your grades, you would have 21 quality points. Now your GPA is your total quality points divided by your total credit hours. So here, this was 8 hours, 21 divided by 8. That's a 265. This person would be on probation, all right? It's below a 3.0. So the number of credit hours makes a difference. The more credit hours something is worth, the bigger an impact it'll have on your GPA. And again, your advisors want you to be successful. So, when we talk to you about your schedule and how classes are going, it's important that you give us an honest answer. One of the things every advisor sees, student comes in, how the class is going? Oh, they're going awesome, I'm going to get an A or B and everything. And the term comes around, we see a bunch of C's, and some D's, and some F's. But what happened? Oh, well, all semester I just didn't get it. When your advisor is asking you about your grades, it's important to be honest. If you're not honest, in the early part of the term and you are struggling in a course and you tell your advisor it's going awesome, you fail that course, we can help you early on. If it comes to the end and we find out you failed, we can't help you. All right? It's important to be honest with your advisor about how classes are going. Okay, so if your advisor asks when you meet with them, please be honest. Because we don't want a situation like this, like with this person, where they ended up on probation. Because especially if you're a conditional admission as a grad student, you've got much tighter, much less room for error, I should say. It's a lot smaller. All right? Course repeats. If you do take a course and do poorly in it, as an undergraduate student, you are allowed 5 repeats. As a graduate student, you are allowed 2. What happens when you repeat a course? Both grades will stay on your transcript, but only the second grade is used to calculate your GPA. That means even if the second grade is lower than the first, that second one is counted in your GPA. Okay? But as a grad student, most of your grads, you get 2, undergrads get 5. So be very careful. Right? Hopefully you don't have to retake any. Grad students are required to maintain a 3.0 cumulative GPA. If you fall below that 3.0, you'll be placed on probation. After the term of probation, if you're not above a 3.0, you can be dismissed. Right? You don't want to be academically dismissed. We know it costs you a lot to come here. Come on in, guys. We know there's, a lot of money involved, a lot of, hey, I'm going to the States to go to school. We don't want to see that happen. Your advisor does not. That's why it's important to keep in contact with your advisor and let them know what's going on if you're having difficulties. Right? There's course repeats. Now, course repeats. Let's make sure we all understand. I've had a few students get an A in a class and retake it and tell me, well, that means I've got 2 A's, right? No. Only the second grade counts. And you're only allowed to repeat courses with a B, C, D, F, or X, okay? But if you get a B in a course, talk to your advisor. Most advisors would say, don't retake that, all right? Because it's that second grade. So if the grade goes down, you've just hurt your GPA by retaking that course, okay? All right, so that's the GPA. Anybody have any questions about it or what your advisor is here to do? I know it's a lot of information. If you guys want, you can pick up a paper copy of the GPA slide from my office, which is 311 Russ Engineering Center. There are a few floating around here. Unfortunately, our copier broke today, so I didn't get to print out enough. But if you want one, you can later today come by 311 Russ and pick up a copy of it. Okay? So anybody have any questions for me about stuff?
Ryan, I have a question.
Yeah, no?
Can you also tell them how to change majors if they want to?
Yes. If you are a graduate student and you are thinking of changing major, as a graduate student, to change major, you have to apply to that other program. And I'm going to use an example that I know we have plenty of in here. If you were admitted as a EE student and you want to switch to computer engineering, we've got a lot of people that want to do that. You have to fill out the online graduate application again, submit the online application fee. You don't have to resubmit documents, the university already has them. But just because you were admitted into one department does not guarantee admission to another department, okay, or another program. So if you want to switch your major, you have to apply to that other program. You got to do the online application again, pay the $40 fee, okay? So that's if you want to switch, because I know there are quite a few of you that I've talked to that are double E that want to switch to CEG. I know there are a few CEGs that want to switch to double E. And if you don't understand those abbreviations, don't worry, it's just engineering school stuff. But if you want to switch, you have to do another application, all right? And if you are thinking of switching, I would strongly encourage you to talk to the program advisor for the program you are thinking of switching to, because there are limits. Some programs will not accept credits from a different program, all right? You know, I sent out an email this morning. If you're an EE and you want to switch to CS or CEG, check your Wright State email. You should have an email in there from me about that. You know, if you're a different major, if you're, say you're an MBA student and you want to switch to a Master's of Finance, go find the advisor for a Master's of Finance and talk to them and see, hey, what do I got to do? You know, what courses should I take if I'm planning to transfer? Most of the advisors are more than willing to talk to you if you're saying, hey, I'm in this program, but I want to transfer to this one, all right? So anybody else have any other questions? Oh, come on, I know somebody's got a question. All right. Find your advisor. If you haven't seen your advisor by this point, I would strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to go find them, all right? It's a big deal. They will help you set off on the right foot. Not to scare anybody, and I know you'll probably hear that a lot today, but, you know, again, to use kind of the mistakes people have done in the past. Talk to your advisor to find an appropriate course load. I have had students who were my advisees who went out and registered for 17 hours and tried to take 17 hours. And they received horrible grades, all right? They were conditionally admitted. They were dismissed because they did not meet the standards of their conditional admission. If your advisor suggests something for course load or, you know, do this, please listen to them. We don't want to see you dismissed. We don't want to see you get bad grades, all right? So, any questions? Yep. Go ahead.
Some of the courses which are in the code, they are not showing online, so what should we do about that?
Can you repeat the question, because the other person needs to hear it.
Okay, so his question was, some of the courses that are in the core are not showing up online. If it's not showing up online, chances are that means that course is not offered this term, because not every course is offered every single term. So if there's a specific course, check with your advisor, you know, because I know one of the courses that a lot of students in EE want to take is they want to take, what's a class that we're not offering this semester? Power Electronics 2, or RF power amplifiers. We're not offering it this course, so you won't see it online. If it's not showing up online, that means it's not offered. If it's in your core for your program, talk to your advisor. Your advisor should be able to tell you when that course will be offered. A lot of the departments actually have sheets. If you go into the department and say, hey, I'm a new grad student, do you have the course planning guide? And they'll hand you a sheet. It'll be an Excel spreadsheet that'll list all their courses and what terms they plan to offer them. I know all the departments in engineering have them. I know most of the business departments have them. Almost all the departments on campus have that sheet. So you can kind of figure out, okay, this is my core course, this is when it's offered. Because not every course is offered every term, because we only have so many faculty members and so many classrooms to go around. All right? Any other questions? All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully it's not too long for you all.
Next on the agenda is Amy Anderson. I'm Amy Anderson. Amy Johnson. Amy Anderson is somebody that used to work here before. Amy Johnson from the graduate school. Very pleased to have her here this morning. And what a tangled mess. You have to...
I'm another one that doesn't usually need
These-
a microphone.
Both microphones, this microphone goes to the other room the people are sitting in,
Oh.
and this one goes to this room, so you have to hold both.
Okay.
And that's the power bag.
Oh, now I know what it feels like to be a rock star with all these things. Okay. Good morning. My name is Amy Johnson. I'm the Associate Director of the Graduate School. How many of you are graduate students? Oh, A lot. Well, then you all should have gotten a letter from me because you're here. Everybody get one from me? Okay, good. Well, like I said, I'm the Associate Director of the Graduate School, and on behalf of the Dean of the Graduate School and all of the staff of the Graduate School, we'd like to welcome you to Ohio, to Wright State, and we're very glad that you're here. This is absolutely the largest group of new incoming international students that I've ever seen. I think you're the biggest group. I've been at Wright State for almost 24 years, and this is the biggest group that I know of we've ever had. And a lot of countries represented, so that's wonderful. We're very happy about that. I can't believe that my staff processed all your applications. It just seems overwhelming to me that we were able to do that, and I hope we did a good job at it. I'm going to give you a little overview of the graduate school and what we're about and what we do. We're all things grad. We're located on the 3rd floor of the Student Union, and if you go to Raider Connect and go up the glass elevator, get off on the 3rd floor, we're right there. Just walk straight out, and there we are. We're E344 Student Union. We are responsible for all of the graduate student policies. There's a graduate council made up of faculty from every college. They set the academic policies for the graduate school and all the graduate students. Some of the things we do in the office, you know we process admissions because you all were admitted. We process graduate assistantship contracts. We do not award graduate assistantship contracts. If you are looking for an assistantship or if you already have one, the departments do that. But our office processes your paperwork so that you can get paid every month, your stipend, and so that your tuition is paid every month. So if you have an assistantship contract, you'll come to our office and visit Guana Snell, and she will take care of that for you and be sure that all of your paperwork is in order, that your tuition is paid, and like I said, that you receive your stipend check on time every month. We monitor your academic progress. Ryan talked about the probation and dismissal statuses. When at the end of every quarter, any graduate student whose GPA has fallen below a 3.0, that's what's required for graduate students, it comes to me. And I look and I say, was this person admitted conditionally? And have they taken 9 hours? If they have, then unfortunately I have to send you a dismissal letter. If you have taken your 9 hours and you were admitted regularly and you fall below a 3.0, then unfortunately I'll send you and your advisor a probation letter. If you're on probation, that means you have an additional 9 hours to raise your GPA up back to the required 3.0. And if that happens, then there's no problem. If you were admitted conditionally and you receive a dismissal letter, then you probably need to contact me. I'll send you a letter and explain what it is that you need to do. I also notify the Kim Broomba, the visa and SEVIS person if you are dismissed. So you do need to be sure that you're proactive and contact us, okay? And we hope nobody, that I won't see any at the end of fall term. I'm sure I won't. The next phase that we do in the graduate school, which is a little getting ahead, but we do thesis format checks or dissertation format checks to help you format your thesis or dissertation properly. There's a thesis handbook that you can get. It's on our website online. All of these things, our policies, are on the graduate school website, and you can access that at www.wright.edu.gradschool. /grad school, I'm sorry, I can't remember. So we do those, and then when the time comes, you will fill out a graduation application, and you will apply to our office online, and we have a staff member, Lisa Lewandowski, and she processes your application for graduation and ultimately issues the okay for the registrar to give you your diploma, which is what we hope everyone in this room receives. There was one other thing I wanted to tell you about. There is the Grad Student Association meet and greet is going to be on the quad Wednesday, the 28th. So that's next Wednesday. The Grad Student Association is going to have some food and a DJ, and we invite all of you to come to that. It's on the quad out here in between the four original buildings, and it's going to be a good party, so we hope you all can attend that. Let's see. Well, okay, that's enough for me. I'd now like to introduce you to Anna McWilliams. I'm sure you've all had communication with Anna. She's our graduate international admissions coordinator in my office, and she has worked with all of your admission applications and has seen to it that you're all admitted in here today. So she's going to explain to you, if you were admitted provisionally, how you go about submitting anything that you have left to submit to us, like your original transcripts and those kinds of things. So I will now hand the microphones and this over to Anna, and she's going to explain to you that process. Again, we in the grad school all wish you success in your academic studies. If you need any assistance, feel free to come and speak with us. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Anna McWilliams, and if you were admitted provisionally, it would say on your admission letter, if you were admitted provisionally, that's for one term only. So for this fall semester, you're in good shape for registering for classes. However, there are stipulations of what documents you need to submit. Typically, that's going to be official test scores. If you need to submit an official GRE or TOEFL, that has to be submitted electronically directly from ETS to Wright State. We won't take a paper copy. We used a paper copy to admit you provisionally. So if it's an official score, you need to contact ETS and ask them to submit your scores electronically to Wright State. Other documents would be needing to see, and this would probably be for the majority of you, original transcripts or mark sheets and original proof of degree, and for students from China, that would also include graduation certificates and English translations of those documents. You need to bring those original documents to our grad school office. Right now we have walk-in hours, and it's Monday through Thursday from 1:30 to 3 p.m. And you can visit our website. If and when those walk-in hours change, it's posted right there on the front page. You bring your original documents in, we make a copy and attest that we've seen those originals and mark that off as received. So those are the main things that you would need to be submitting. You definitely want to have those submitted. October 30th would be the absolute latest date, because if we don't have every item that was listed on your provisional admission letter by that time, it will prevent you from registering for spring classes in January. Early registration starts November the 4th, so you want to make sure you come by the grad school office with your original documents well before then. Please don't all of you come this afternoon from 1:30 to 3, because we won't, there's about 3 of us that will do that, so I definitely can't accommodate you. Many of you I've seen in the last 2 weeks, so I appreciate you coming in early. But that's really what you would need to do to get those provisional admission requirements met. And once again, on behalf of the entire graduate school office, we'd like to welcome you to Wright State.
Our next presenter is here. We have Stephanie Allen from the Office of Student Legal Services. If you all have registered for classes and gone to look at your student fees, you might have seen $11 called the student legal fee. So she's going to talk about why you're being charged the legal fee and the services they offer.
Do you want me to pull up this? Yes. You want me to both of them. This is for the overflow room, this is for this one. you want me to pull up your website?
You can. Okay, can everyone hear me? Yes, okay. As she said, my name is Stephanie Allen. I'm the managing attorney at Student Legal Services here on campus. She's pulling up our website here. We're located in the student union just down from the radio station. Basically, we're a full-service law firm just for the students. So as she said, if you've already registered, you likely already paid the $11. And what that does is basically that covers a free attorney for almost any legal issue. We have a couple small areas, some of which probably wouldn't even pertain to you, but that we don't handle, but we do handle most every issue that you would encounter, and I'll go over some of those in a minute. It is a fee that you can waive, the $11, and it's $11 per semester. If you have already waived it and you want to put it back on, come and see me, call the office, because you have to put it back on before the first week of classes or you can't use it at all. So it's one of those things that you pay for and you hope you don't need it, but if you've waived it and then say in October your landlord wants to evict you because you haven't paid your rent, if you've waived the fee, I cannot see you. So make sure you're paying that $11 fee. It's very cheap, and we find that a lot of issues that come up for international students are kind of unique to international students, and a lot of our population that we see are international students, so I think it's a very good choice. The $11, it's cheap. $11 for an attorney. But if you have waived it and you want to put it back on, please see me and I'll put it back on for you within the next week or so. After that, it's going to be too little too late. There's a couple of sheets that are coming around. There's a brochure. It's got some information about what the program does. This yellow sheet's coming around. That's yellow or green. I think we ran out of yellow. That's going to kind of be what I'm talking about today, with some issues that are kind of unique to international students, or that we see a lot of international students encounter. But basically what the areas the program does: criminal and traffic issues, landlord-tenant, family law issues. You want to do a name change. That's something I run into a lot with international students. Your name in your home country doesn't translate well to English. You come here and someone gives you a driver's license and they spell your name wrong on the driver's license, and now you're trying to exit the country and your visa in your home country's language doesn't match your U.S. documentation, and so we run into that a lot. As I said, family law issues, anything to do with marriage, children, all those are issues that we cover, and then we also cover civil and consumer issues, which we see a lot of international students in for, and that's some of the things I'm going to go over here. As far as leases go, I realize a lot of you may already be in a lease. Since you're here today, you're probably already living in an apartment. If that's the case and you want us to review your lease with you, please feel free to make an appointment, come in, and I'll look over it with you and tell you the things that you need to be aware of, or the things that you need to look out for. If you haven't yet signed a lease, I would encourage you, before you do so, to bring it to me and let me look at it, and I'll tell you, yes or no, whether or not this is a good lease. Believe it or not, landlords here, at least in this area, put a lot of things in a lease that aren't even legal, and you don't know that until you have me look at it and tell you, don't sign this. The landlord has put things in your lease that they're going to try to hold you to that aren't legal. So please bring me those leases and I'll be happy to review them with you. If you run into any problems throughout the year, if you've paid the fee, any problems with your apartment or your landlord, come and see me. If there's repairs that need to be made and your landlord's not doing it, your landlord withholds your security deposit, anything like that, you're having problems with your roommate, you're having problems with your upstairs neighbors who are partying all night long, whatever it might be, come and see me, and those are all things that we will cover for you as part of the student legal service fee. One other thing I guess I want to caution you against, a lot of you are probably living together with other international students. Just beware that when you sign that lease, if 4 of you go into a lease together and one of you moves out because they can't get along, the other 3 remaining students are liable for that 4th person's rent. So what I'm getting at is you better trust the people that you're living with, and you better ensure that they're going to be there for the long haul, because otherwise you're going to end up paying way more rent than you thought you were, or risk being evicted. If any of those issues happen, please come and see me. Another thing that I kind of warn students about, is get renter's insurance. It's very cheap. Call whoever you got for your car insurance. Tell them you want renter's insurance for your apartment. It'll probably cost you about $10 a month. But that's what covers what's inside the apartment. If your apartment catches on fire, struck by lightning, it leaks, which happens a lot, none of the contents of your apartment will be paid for, even if that's not your fault. So if the water's leaking from the ceiling or your upstairs neighbor floods the bathtub and it comes down into your apartment, if it lands on your couch, you're out that money unless you've got the renter's insurance. Your landlord will not pay for that. So please get that renter's insurance. It's very cheap. If 3 or 4 of you are living together, you only need one policy, split $10 3 ways. It's very cheap. Let's see, and make sure if you've already moved in, take photos of your apartment when you move in and when you get ready to move out. You'd be surprised at how many of you, when you go to move out, will be charged for things from your security deposit that were there the first day that you moved in. So please make sure you've got that documented, that it was all there when you moved in. Okay, I'll try to wrap it up. Everybody's getting restless. The other issue that we see a lot of international students for is driving conduct, things to do with your cars. If you are here and you have an international license in your home country, that is not sufficient to drive in Ohio. I repeat, because I see a lot of people doing this. I see several hundred students a year over this. That is not sufficient to drive in the state of Ohio. You must go to the DMV here locally and get an Ohio license. If not, you will be ticketed. I don't care what a cop tells you or whoever else in orientation told you can drive on that. That's not the truth, and you will be ticketed for that. That's a first-degree misdemeanor, maximum of $1,000 fine. So please go get that driver's license. It'll save you a lot of headaches and troubles. In addition to that, please get car insurance. Everyone that's driving here is required to have it. If you don't have that, that will get your license suspended very quickly. So make sure you get that. That's even if you don't own the car. These are all things that are on the yellow sheet. Even if you don't own the car, let's say you're driving your friend's car and you think they have insurance, but it turns out after you get a ticket that they don't, your license is the one that is suspended, not the friend's. So make sure you're getting car insurance. Again, it's very cheap also. Unless you're driving a $100,000 car, it's not going to cost you that much money to insure your car. It'll be way cheaper than if you didn't get it and get your license suspended. The last thing we'll kind of go over, I'll be very brief on that. We see quite a few international students here who are getting scammed by people either here in the U.S. or people overseas, but primarily it comes through your email. If you get an email excuse me, that looks like it's probably too good to be true, that probably means that it is. Don't respond to it. Don't ever wire anyone any money. Don't ever accept any money wired to you or sent to your bank account number if you don't personally know the person. That's probably a scam. They're going to steal your money. The way that we see it the most is you'll get an email that says, hey, I heard you were a poor college student. Would you like to earn a quick $500? It's easy. Here's what you do. You give me your bank account number. I see some of you laughing, but this is actually how it happens. Give me your bank account number, and I'll send you $3,000. And then what I need you to do is wire me back $2,500 to an offshore account, and you get to keep that $500. Well, what happens is they send you $3,000, and you think, sweet, I just got $3,000. I'm going to make $500. All I got to do is go to my bank. You go to your bank, draw out $2,500 of your own money, and send it to this guy. Fast forward 3 days later, your bank calls you and says, oh, by the way, that $3,000 check you brought us, that was fake. And so now you're out the $2,500 that you just took out of your own bank account. That's crucial for students who are here on a limited income. That could mean you can't pay your rent, you can't pay your car payment, you can't eat, whatever it is. So if you get an email that looks like that, people bring them to me all the time and say, is this legit? And I'll read over it and say, no, it's not. So if you have any question as to whether or not it might be legitimate, please make an appointment, come and see me. I'll be happy to look over it with you and tell you yes or no. I say this a lot, but it's true. No issue is too big or too small for you to bring to me. I've had a student who brought me something that was a dispute over $1 and some odd change, up to we occasionally have people who are facing some very serious legal issues, deportation, felony criminal offenses, etc. So please feel free to come and see me. I'm going to hang around outside up here for a little bit. I've got the calendar with me. I can schedule you an appointment right now if you feel as though you have any questions that that you need answered right away, I'd be happy to make you an appointment. Is there any questions from anyone right now that they'd like for me to answer? No, such a quiet crowd. Okay, well, as I said, here's our information. Feel free to check out our website. We are in the basement of the student union. I hope to see a lot of you there, but not for necessarily anything too horrible. Feel free to call me if you have any questions, and welcome to Wright State. Thank you.
I know all of you are ready to go to break, but before you do that, we have few announcements that are important for you. I'm going to hand it over to Jonathan, who's going to talk about housing. And even for everybody who is in the overflow room, if you have questions about housing, please come back here, and Jonathan will be here to answer them.
Yeah, go for it. Good morning, everyone. I will keep this short because I know you want to get to break. My name is Jonathan Henderson. I work in the UCIE. I might have met a couple of you during your check-ins, but if not, I am a resource at the UCIE for you. So feel free to stop by the office. I'm an international student program advisor of sorts. So that means I'm here for you. I'm a resource to help you guys do well, succeed, and have fun at Wright State. So feel free to stop by and ask for me. Also, if you see me in the halls, feel free to flag me down. I'd love to get to know you and have a conversation, so feel free to do that as well. Quickly, we're passing out a short survey that we'd like to collect when you guys come back from break. So if you could fill that really quick, it's 4 short questions, yes or no answers. There's some space if you do want to write, if you have any questions that you can respond at length if you'd like to. But we're just kind of getting an idea about housing right now. In terms of housing right now, I know a lot of you guys have found permanent accommodations, and that's great. We are aware, however, that there are some of you who may not have, and may be staying with friends, and at this point it may have been for a while, or there might be a lot of you guys staying in one place. And we're getting some feedback from some of the local landlords, and that's not something that they're going to be fond of for much longer. So it is very important that you do seek out permanent accommodations. If for whatever reason at this time you're waiting for whatever reason, have perhaps been promised some sort of leasing agreement or whatnot, there is the capacity for the university to temporarily house you in one of the dormitories. Might not be your first choice, but if it's only for a couple of weeks, that's something we can do. There are some fees associated with that, of course, but much less than signing up for a whole semester or something like that. Is something that we can do on a week-by-week basis during September. If anyone is interested in that, you guys can see me at your convenience during break, after break, or you can stop by the UCA and talk to me as well. So once again, please just take a few moments to fill out that survey and get it to one of our representatives here after the break. Thank you very much, and welcome to Wright State.
We have Skip and Stephanie here, so they will be answering all your questions.
Thank you.
That other mic too. Yes, thank you.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Okay. I am Skip Reinhardt, one of 2 student employment coordinators here at Wright State. There's a staff of 3 of us to help you with anything you need as far as on-campus employment. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about us as far as where we're located, some of the services we provide, and some of the jobs that are available, as well as how to find them on our database. Okay? This is our student employment staff. It's myself, Connie Nunemaker, and then Kim Gillum is the student employment manager. This is all our student employment contact information. If you ever need to get a hold of us, email's probably fastest, but we'll also respond to phone calls if you need us. We're physically located in the Student Union building on the 3rd floor. You can take either elevator all the way to the top, and we're located in the Career Services office. Okay? Go ahead. All right, so I'm going to give you a little bit of information on working on campus. Okay. Some of the eligibility requirements. Being F1 visa students, most of you, there are certain regulations, eligibility requirements specifically for you guys. For undergraduate students, you have to be taking at least 6 credit hours to work on campus. For graduate students, you have to be taking at least 3. There is no GPA requirement to work on campus. Okay, like I said, with your F1 visa status, one of the regulations is that you may never work over 20 hours a week, okay? The only difference for that is right now, during summer, you can work 40, okay? During breaks in summer, you can work 40, but that too may be changing relatively soon. All right, so I'm going to go through with you slide by slide on our website how to locate the jobs. Okay, so here we are at career.wright.edu. You can get to it through that link, or you can go right through Wright State's homepage to get to it. Okay, you're going to click the Student Employment tab there that says Find Part-Time Work. Go ahead. You click Job Seekers off to the right-hand side there. And you'll see a link there that says Guest Users. There is no login information. There is no password to remember. You just keep clicking, and you'll get there eventually. Okay, this is the login information that I said that you just click, and there's no guest user or anything like that. Okay, so now you're actually in our database. It's called the Wright Search. You click on Jobs. It's a drop-down box. You'll see Student Employment there. Okay, you want to click that. And this is actually the jobs that are listed on campus. They're all listed chronologically. We post them every single day, several times a day. So if you're looking on there today and there's nothing that you're eligible for or qualified for or interests you, keep looking every single day because they change rapidly. And if there's something that you like and that you want to apply for it right away because they go fast. Okay? And let's say, for instance, you're interested in this distance education production assistant, the first one there. So let's click on that. And this is all the information that you'll need for that job posting. It gives the openings, the salary information, the job summary, the qualifications that you need, the hours, and the location is also listed there, and the contact person that you're wanting to apply to. Okay, go ahead. Oh, go back. Yeah, go. Okay, so the current wages on campus right now, as they stand right now, are anywhere from $7.85 to $9.15, classes 2 through 5. Class 2 would be more secretarial type stuff, like copying, faxing, running errands, where class 5 would be more like your research positions, working for professors or a TA or something like that. Okay? Okay, as far as some of the paperwork is concerned, because you're F1 visa students, there's a couple more forms that are required for you that aren't necessarily required for the U.S. citizens, okay? And you guys are all familiar with these, like the I-20, the passport, the I-94, and then you'll need your email from UCIE once you have a job offer that says you're allowed to work on campus, okay? Okay, some available resources for you if you should need them at any point. There's the Student Employment Manual that can be found on our website, any frequently asked questions that you may have. And like I said, you can always contact me or Connie or Kim at any point. You can get your pay period schedule. You can also get your pay stubs if you should need them. Like if you're going to apply for an apartment, they'll ask you for your pay stubs. You can get those on Wings Express. Okay, and you can also get to the Wright Search the way I just showed you through our website. Okay, now Stephanie is going to talk to you about co-op, an internship, but is there any questions about student employment at all? Because I know I went through that really, really fast, but if you have any questions, now is the time to ask me. This is a smart group, I can tell. All right, Stephanie.
Okay, good morning. My name is Stephanie Spencer, and I'm the co-op coordinator here on campus. And so basically, our job is to help you get pre-professional experience related to your future career and your major. So if you're thinking about doing an internship, or also known as a cooperative education experience, the Career Services Office is the office that can help you locate those opportunities. In order to be eligible for a co-op experience, which would be your CPT, you do have to be in the United States for at least 9 months to first be eligible. Once you are eligible, then you can continuously apply for part-time or full-time CPT while you are a student here in the United States. If you are an undergraduate student, you do have to have a 2.5 GPA, and if you are a graduate student, you are required to have a 3.0 GPA to be eligible for CPT, co-op, or internship. You do need to be admitted to your college with a declared major, and you do have to complete specific coursework that your specific department requires. So your department may require, in addition to a 3.0 GPA, may require that you have taken a few of the basic courses in your program and have established yourself in that program. To register for a co-op or internship or your CPT, you will log into the Wright search. It's the same website that Skip just showed you to find the student employment jobs. However, because for a co-op or internship, it's going to be linked specifically to you, instead of using the guest user login, you will log in with your campus university ID number and your campus PIN. You'll complete the co-op acceptance form in that system, and that will be submitted to us. You'll also need to meet with an advisor. There is an advisor in our office that is dedicated to each of the colleges on campus. So depending on your major, you do have an assigned advisor that we can help schedule you an appointment with. And you'll bring to that advisor the copy of your job offer letter. So when you are offered an internship or a cooperative education experience, you'll need to ask that company to provide you on the company letterhead a offer letter that states when they are planning to hire you for, what job they're planning to hire you for, and what pay they're planning to pay you for that experience. Once you have brought in that offer letter and completed the online co-op acceptance form, Career Services will initiate the process with your employer. We will ask them to complete the International Student Cooperative Education Agreement, where they're going to let us know how many hours a week for how many weeks they plan to hire you. Once we have that returned from your supervisor, we'll then submit paperwork to the University Center for International Education, and UCIE will then process your I-20. You are unable to work in an internship or a co-op experience until the I-20 has been processed. So just coming to see me and turning in the paperwork does not make you eligible. It has to be processed, and UCIE does have to provide that I-20. Once we have the I-20, we will send out the co-op confirmation letter so you know you are then eligible. In order to participate in the CPT co-op and internship process, when you register, you will actually be registered for an academic course. It is CPE 0910 or 0920. Because it is a 0100 class, there's no tuition associated with it, and there's no credit hours associated with it. So it's not going to help you graduate any sooner, but it is going to allow you to be legally authorized to work in the United States, as well as help you keep and maintain your student status. So if you choose to take a semester off of classes, but you are working full-time and you are registered, then you will still have full-time student status here at Wright State. You'll be required to come in to meet with our advisors at the end of the internship for an exit interview to talk about what you did during that experience. Your supervisor will complete a performance appraisal, and then you'll bring in a one-page written statement of what you did during that experience, as well as your testimonial if you felt you had a good experience that you wanted to highlight for other students. So that's the basic process for co-op and internship. Does anybody have any questions about co-op and internship? Well, if you do have questions, as Skip said earlier, you can always contact the Career Services office. There are many of us in the office that work with co-op and internships, so there is an advisor dedicated specifically to your major of study. And if you call our front desk and let them know what your major is, they'll get you on the appropriate advisor's calendar. Okay. Yes? No, the internship can be anywhere in the United States or even in another country. So any internship that you're wanting to do that is going to require work authorization to allow you to be eligible to work either here in the United States or to work with your visa to allow you to go elsewhere, then you would want to register with our office so that way you are legally authorized to work in that position. Great question. But we have many international students who work here in Ohio, and we have many international students that do their internships all over the country and all over the world each year. Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, our next presenters are here. We have people from Counseling and Wellness Services, and we also have people who are coming here from Active Minds, which is a student org on campus. They will be talking about their department and activities that they have for students.
introduce yourself, I can pull up your website by then. Okay, that's it. I think I'm good. That's all I need. Okay.
Good morning. My name is Jessica Moss. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay, great. I am a psychologist at Counseling and Wellness Services. I'd like to introduce as well, this is Josh Wood. He is one of the counselors in our office. He's completing a training experience with us. A lot of our service providers are people who are in training working on their doctorates or masters in counseling. And so I just want to talk to you a little bit about what we do at Counseling and Wellness Services, what we provide, and I'll just start with some reasons why you might come and see us. A lot of times people don't necessarily think about mental health services as being for anything other than people who are diagnosed with a mental illness, you know, experiencing serious depression, anxiety, something else, but we're there to provide services for anything that's going on with you, either emotionally or with thinking, with attention, that might interfere with your academic performance. And so that can take a lot of different forms. That could be feeling worried about finances, feeling worried about academics, feeling worried about other things that are happening in your life, relationships, things like that, that then distracts you and interferes with your ability to study or your ability to take an exam. That could be feeling uncomfortable with living in a new culture and feeling down about that or worried about that and wanting to talk to somebody about that. So we really encourage people to come and see us when they're having any kind of concerns that might interfere with doing well here in school or being able to connect with other people on campus, which is a really important part of your college experience. So the way that we do that is we provide a lot of different types of services. We provide group therapy. We have a number of different groups that are appropriate for different concerns that people have. We also provide individual therapy. We have a psychiatrist who is on staff, and we also do couples and family therapy. All of our services are low cost to no cost. So psychiatry is always free, group therapy is always free, individual therapy, couples and family are free up through 12 sessions. If you have the student health insurance, they stay free. But if you don't have student health insurance, then there's a $10 charge per session, but that can be waived because of finances. So finances should never be a barrier to coming to see us. With regard to confidentiality, everything that you talk about with us at Counseling and Wellness Services stays confidential unless you're in danger or you are a danger to somebody else. And so in those cases, we have to break confidentiality, but nothing that we do at Counseling and Wellness Services ever goes on your academic record. It doesn't go to any other office on campus unless you specifically authorize us to do that. In some cases, people do, but we aren't going to be calling professors, we aren't going to be calling your family, we're not going to be talking to anybody but you unless you say it's okay or unless you're in some sort of danger. So it's a confidential place to get whatever kind of assistance that you might need. I will talk a little bit about our crisis line that we have available for emergency services. That's the Raider Cares line. That's staffed by people who are off-site but who can communicate with us. That's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The number is right there, and it is toll-free, and there's also a TTY number. They should be able to locate translators if necessary. I haven't looked into that, but if you have any questions about that, feel free to let me know and I'll get the answer for you. There are also a couple of community resources that are more local up there, but we would encourage you to use that 24-hour hotline. That's there, just if you need emotional support, if you need to talk to somebody, if you're worried about somebody else. I really encourage you to use that resource. If you would like to come and see us, we initiate services on a walk-in basis. So that means you just come in during our regular business hours, the hours that we have set aside. You can come in and see us anytime if you're having trouble. We're there 8:30 to 5, Monday through Friday. But if you want to start services with us, then you would want to come in on weekdays right in the middle of the day. So those hours shift sometimes, but as of right now, we're doing Monday through Friday. They generally start at 11 o'clock in the morning and they'll end mid-afternoon. You would probably want to be there by 2 o'clock in the afternoon in order to be seen. There are times when we'll ask you to come back another day, and I know that can be frustrating, but we do our best to see people as soon as we possibly can. And so please just call us or stop by if you're in any need of just somebody to talk to or something more extensive. If you think you need medications, things like that, feel free to come and see us. Are there any questions about what we do? Okay. Well, I hope you will decide to come and see us sometime if you need us. We are there. We are in the basement of the Student Union. We're right next door to Student Health Services. We're just tucked away in the corner, so you kind of have to look for us, but we are there. So thank you very much for your time and your attention, and have a great stay here. Thanks. Did I miss anything, Joe? Got it. Okay. I'll just introduce, this is Gia and Barry. They're here from Active Minds. Out of your way.
Thank you. Good morning, folks. How's everyone doing today? Okay. My name's Barry. I'm actually here with Gia, to talk a little bit about Active Minds. Active Minds is a student organization on campus which is really dedicated to eliminating stigma related to mental health issues. So when I talk about stigma, I'm talking about any feelings that people may have where they don't feel comfortable talking about some of the emotional struggles that they may be going through, or they don't feel comfortable or safe seeking help for any emotional struggles or difficulties. So just by a quick show of hands, is there anybody who's a little nervous or a little anxious or concerned about starting the upcoming semester? Just raise your hand. Really? Just me and Gia? Come on. So, and that's part of an example right there. Perhaps you didn't raise your hand because you didn't feel comfortable admitting that, yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking starting a new program, the first day of classes and all that. So we want to really try to get rid of that uncomfortable feeling where we don't feel comfortable discussing it openly and admitting that we may be struggling a little bit and we may need a little bit of assistance. So what we're actually going to do is just talk a little bit about the events we have coming up. We are open to all students, so as long as you're a student at Wright State University, you can become a member of Active Minds also and get involved with any of these activities. And I'm going to actually pass it over to Gia now, who's going to tell you a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Barry. I'm Jeevita Kempegowda. I'm the president of Active Minds. Just like Barry was saying that the vision of Active Minds is to encourage students to talk more about mental health issues. As an international student, I can tell you it is kind of nerve-wracking, just like Barry was saying. Acculturation, getting used to new culture, new people, roommate issues, housing, fee structure, a million other things that come as a package. We are not a peer support group. We don't offer any clinical services, but we are here to tell you or even teach you how we could form our own peer group among our friends, to seek out support and be more comfortable sharing, talking about mental health issues. So we have a lot of events coming up. We have a wellness fair that is next week on the 28th Wednesday. Please mark your calendars. It's at the Apollo room between 11 to 2. We have a lot of fun activities, free food, fun. I love free food. That's the best food. And of course, there's a photo booth. There's a lot of fun. Take pictures. Come along with your friends. You get a chance to win some interesting gift cards to Myers. That's where it's closer to all of us. So we could do some shopping there. And also we have some other projects coming up for this year. It's a fairly new group, so we are just starting off. We're all playing with it ourselves. We have a radio project coming up, so we are training members of Active Minds to become DJs at our radio station, and we might be hosting a show in spring. And you're all welcome. Probably we'll send out an invite where international students too can come into our radio station and talk about what are some of your concerns. So, and of course, we have our multicultural conference that's happening in October. Active Minds is going to be presenting, addressing mental health stigma on our college campus. We might also be doing a video production, and you're welcome to join there as well. Thank you so much. Do you have any questions? We are in the process of constructing our website. One of our members are working on it. So the best way is to reach out. You can contact me or Barry or other resource people who are members of Active Minds. You can find our flyers at the front desk. Here you can ask Namrata or others who are here. And welcome to the United States. Thank you and have a great day.
Our next presenter is Letha Ross. She's from the Department of Health Services. I believe most of you have already been there to submit your medical history forms. Now, if any one of you have any questions about Health Services Department, the services they provide, or your health insurance, Letha will be the best person to answer that question. So I'll just hand it over to her. Thank you.
It looks like it's locked up. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's see. Good morning, and welcome to Wright State. My name is Letha Ross, and I am from Student Health Services. Your recent presenter mentioned counseling. We're right next door, 051 Student Union. Yes. Mhm. And it's international. Thank you. Okay. Okay, and one of the things that we do at Student Health, if most of you've been there when you've turned in your medical history form, we are kind of the green building, and it says Student Health Services on the front. We are where you can gain care for things like treatment of common health problems and or injury. On a daily basis from 8:30 to we take our last patient at 4:30. There are usually 2 nurse practitioners there that can see you and provide evaluation, diagnosis, and treatment of a common health problem or help you with an injury. We write prescriptions. Right now, there is no pharmacy in our building. However, there is, the closest would be Meyer and or down behind the Nutter Center, which is Wright State Physicians. They have a pharmacy in that location. Also, you'll see here listed physician. We have a physician who comes on campus one morning a week. He's there for about 3 hours. And so conditions that maybe are out of my scope or Rose's, or someone we want to maybe refer because we have been unsuccessful in getting you cared for, we put in his schedule. He is by appointment only. Otherwise, at our center, it's walk-in. So you come in, regardless if it's a female problem and you need to have, say, a pap smear, those are scheduled, or if say you're for a work physical or a school physical, those are scheduled, but otherwise, walk in. One of the one insurance coordinator we have is here with me this morning, Nancy Kaup, and she can answer lots more questions than I can or help with your insurance issues. Nam has already mentioned the completed medical history form, so hopefully you all have turned those in or will be. A requirement with that form is to have a copy of your immunization record in English turned in as well. If you don't have your immunizations, we do provide those at Student Health, and say you can't get your records, there is no risk in getting them again. But we, because it's a university requirement, we are pretty strict on that. When those things are not completed, the student at a certain point will have an academic hold placed on their account, which means he can't register for the upcoming semester. So just kind of pay close attention. This is what the medical history form looks like. And as I already mentioned, when we're open and where we're located. Now, let's get to insurance information. One of the handouts that they're coming around with actually gives a screenshot and the URL for the insurance. The reason I've done that this year is because in the past, insurance companies would provide a booklet for students. This year, everybody's going green, so it is accessible online. This is the insurance coordinator or vendor, United Healthcare Student Resource. And in order to use the insurance, when you come to student health, your visits are paid for. If you go out of student health, there is certain requirements. In other words, you have to have a referral from student health unless your illness is either after hours when we are closed, on the weekend, or during break. If you need to be, say, go outside, the emergency room kind of care, students do incur cost. So I caution you not to, unless it's a true emergency, to always use emergency room. In this country, healthcare is quite expensive, and students many times will be placed with big bills, and it kind of impairs, causes a lot of frustration and may impair sometimes completing. Dependents, you can sign up a dependent with the health insurance. You need to come to student health, and we can do that. Dependents cannot be seen. We only see registered Wright State students. So what Nancy's passing out now, and some of you have seen it, is the website for United Healthcare. You can also access this website from our student health website. We're under insurance. When you first click on this URL, it brings you to Welcome Wright State. If you'll notice in the upper, your right-hand corner, it says create an account. So students, once the insurance company gets verification of all students, they will be sending students an email. And once you get that email, then you create your own account. From there, you will print off your insurance card. If you have problems, just come to Student Health and we will get it printed for you. But right now, and this is a new process this year, so we're all kind of learning. This is the next page, so when you look down where it says plan information, that very first policy that says undergraduate and graduate plan is where your policy information is found. You click on that, and it will bring you to these pages. There are probably about 28, maybe 32 pages of printed material. And through this, it gives you eligibility, it gives you hospital rates, it gives you percentages of what ER visits are, maternity, and so forth. Right now, prevention of most plans covered at 100%. So you can come talk to us about what all that means. In order to be eligible for the insurance, 6 credit hours or more, graduate students, co-op, can purchase, but you have to contact Student Health in order to get enrolled. And I've already mentioned you can enroll. These are the effective dates, so starting Monday, the plan goes into effect. Many of the new international probably wonder what the gap insurance coverage is. That's to cover you, which that insurance can be used outside of the university before the semester begins. We only have a few more days. One of the benefits, which a lot of students have found to be important, is prescriptions. In the past, students would have to pay up front for their prescriptions and then bring receipts back and get reimbursed. What this does now, if you have your insurance card, there's a benefit that you're entitled to. When you hand your prescription along with your insurance card, you only pay 20% cost of the medicine. So if it's a really inexpensive, students have told me, because at Student Health we try to provide inexpensive care. So we're not ordering the most expensive medicines, and some students have said, you know, I only had to pay 60 cents for this medicine. There is, and I encourage you to look at exclusions. In that policy where it says blanket policy, there are about 32 items that are listed that are exclusions. Number one, I do remember it has to do with some experimental drugs, for instance, things like that. So I encourage you to familiarize yourself with the benefits. If you have any questions at all, Ms. Nancy Kalp, who is sitting here, this is her phone number and her email. You can come talk to us. I'm always, I shouldn't say always, hopefully I will always be there to also help out. But anyone have any questions about anything before I'm done? Yes, ma'am. Yes. No, it covers some, depending on what is done in the ER. And the reason I mention that is a lot of times in ERs, docs will go ahead and there may be a lot of tests ordered. So say you have abdominal pain. Well, they may do a CAT scan, which it can be expensive. And so the insurance will cover a percentage. Student, it doesn't cover it 100%. So there would be some cost incurred. I would encourage you to even jot down, well, on the insurance card is the customer service phone number to the insurance vendor. Always ask those kind of questions before you go, because say if you have severe pain, yeah, it's going to cover it, but you will have some cost. And so most of the time it's like 80% that it will cover. So say if it's a $1,000 bill, well, you would be stuck with $200, okay? So just remember, not everything is covered 100%, except prevention, which when I talk about prevention, things that are required like immunizations, like your TB skin tests, flu shots, MMR. For females, the pap smears are covered 100%. Birth control, you know, they're usually not the real expensive ones, but most are covered totally. And then it depends on the pharmacy you go to. So when one of the previous people mentioned that things are a little bit different, you kind of have to learn how to navigate around. And you come to us, we can kind of help guide you on a lot of those things. Any other questions? Yes. Yes, it is, because it is now online. I mentioned that you'll be receiving an email, and you go ahead and you create your own account, which is in that upper right on that form, and it says create an account. And once you do that, then you can go in and print your own card. But because this is all new, I encourage you, if you have problems, come to us and we can help get your card printed. Okay? They will need their card if they go anywhere outside? Yes, you will need your card. So say if it's on a weekend or after hours and you decide to go to an urgent care, which is not an emergency room. You go to an urgent care, you need to have your insurance card with you so that that particular place knows who to bill, okay? Otherwise, you will get the full bill that you owe $100, okay? So real important, just keep a copy. And again, if you have problems printing the card, come to us or need further instruction. Yes?
Starting next week, if they need to take the vaccinations,
yes.
Under Wright State, is it completely free in the health services?
It is covered by the insurance, okay, so yes.
They can come starting next week.
Yes, and when Nancy and I have talked about that, we have to go in the system to verify, so we could do that, yes. Thank you, Nam. Yes, ma'am. Yes, it will cover it, but you need the card because at the top of the card there is a code that notifies the pharmacist that you have that benefit, okay? So if you come to student health, say next week, and you're sick, and you see me and I give you a prescription, then I will go over to Nancy's office and say, can we print this student a temporary card, because it will have that number on it in order for you to get the benefit. Any other questions? Okay, yes, sir.
How does portability
Good question. He asked, how does the Affordable Care Act affect insurances come January 1? Well, what we understand, and I know that those students who are enrolled in the Wright State Health Plan meets all of the Affordable Care Act mandates. Those students who do not have insurance, from what I understand, there will be exchanges set up that will be in place by October 1. So therefore, some students have asked, is it best to go to do the exchange? Well, I've just been doing some reading. Some of the exchanges are expensive if you qualify for Medicaid, but that has certain limitations on it as well. So the Affordable Care Act, by January 1, 2014, from what I understand, people must have some insurance in place. And again, your Wright State health insurance, some of you may have Aetna through your embassy, some may have Cigna. All of those policies should, at this point, and usually the big ones, meet the mandated benefit. There's certain what they call PPACA compliant, and I know that the Wright State Student Health Insurance meets all of those mandates to the maximum level. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes, before, what that gap insurance is, students, the international students who arrive in the United States 30 days prior to the beginning of the semester are required, and I think it's a visa thing, required to purchase the gap insurance before the quarter or semester begins. And that insurance does cover you, and it has the same kind of benefit that the current, the new plan that starts Monday. So say if you became very ill today, and heaven forbid, you became ill, that gap insurance would cover you if you had to go to the hospital or if you had an injury. That takes care of that before the full plan kicks in. Okay, any other questions? Okay, thank you and welcome to Wright State. I hope you have a wonderful semester. And do come see us if you have any questions about anything I've spoken about. Thank you.
Next presenter is here. We have Simone Polk. Yeah, if you want, go ahead. Okay. I can do it for you if you want. Okay. We have Simone Polk. She'll just introduce herself. And we also have students in overflow room, so we have a camera running, 100 more in that room.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. That does not sound like happy new Raiders at the Wright State University campus in Dayton, Ohio, the only Emerald City in Ohio. Now I'm going to try that one more time. Good morning, everyone. Okay, that's a Raider hello. Now I feel welcome. And you know that Wright State University is a welcoming and inclusive campus. So that first hello anywhere on this campus will never work again for you. That second hello to everybody you see and you meet, smile and give them that second hello so that you can exemplify that Wright State is a welcoming and inclusive campus. Thank you. I am going to be presenting today to you regarding resources and services offered in the Division of Student Affairs. I'm also going to share a little bit with you about our bias incident response team that helps students who experience a bias-related event or who are a party to a bias-related event here on our campus. So as soon as we get the presentation up, let's see, you plug me in? Yeah. Okay. Go to, come up and go to computer? Yeah, no. Wow.
Do you remember what your pen drive is called?
Yeah.
We can search for it maybe.
I don't see it there at all.
I'll just plug it in again.
I'm going to pull it out. Plug it in again. See what happens. It's trying to do something.
There we go. And then I'll go down to UCIE. 2030? Yep. You want to walk around? No, I can stay right in here. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get started with my presentation. Again, I'll be talking with you about the services and resources offered to all students at Wright State University in the Division of Student Affairs. Now, first starting with Campus Rec, how many of you like to work out? Well, as students here at Wright State, that's recommended. Walking, running, we have a full campus recreation area that has state-of-the-art equipment that you can utilize when the building hours are open to keep healthy. And you just heard from student health, eating well and working out in some capacity helps to reduce your stress, also helps to keep you fit. So check out Campus Rec over in the Student Union. Career Services, they can assist you with student employment, they can help you with practicums, internships, and future employment after you go beyond Wright State as an alumni. So if you have any kinds of employment type questions related to interviewing, business etiquette, check out our folks at Career Services. Counseling and Wellness Services, do they have a presentation? Well, I won't go into that too much, but if you're experiencing any kinds of stress or anxiety about being here, maybe you have some roommate issues, maybe you just need to talk to somebody, maybe homesickness, you can talk with somebody, you can talk with a licensed counselor or a person who can just help you kind of get through your anxiety. So check out Counseling and Wellness, also in the Student Union. Office of Disability Service serves our students with disabilities. Those disabilities can be obvious or non-obvious. They can be physical or mental health or learning disabilities. So if you are a student with any of those disabilities and you have not spoken with someone in the Office of Disability Services, you need to do so right away to make sure that if you are able to have any accommodations to help you be successful here at Wright State, that you get those without delay. Intercollegiate Athletics, located at the Irvin J. Nutter Center, which is just a short walk through the campus. All kinds of athletic activities occur, basketball, baseball, men and women's basketball season will be starting up soon. You as students can get tickets to those games. It's a nice diversion from studies and going to class to partake of our athletic teams on campus and support them and cheer them on to victory. Community standards and student conduct. Hopefully none of you all will be going there to have any kind of interaction because you all have read the student handbook, which is online, and you know that we have expectations at Wright State University because we're a community of people that care about and respect each other. So if you haven't had an opportunity to go online, just Google from the Wright State main page, student handbook, check it out. It will give you the expectations for your behavior that we have here at Wright State. University Police Department. Patrick Ammon is waiting outside to have a presentation with you, so I won't steal his thunder. Resident Services, is anyone here living on campus? Few of you living here on campus, that's your go-to office if you're living here on campus, or if you're living off campus and would like to consider moving on to campus in residential housing, Resident Services, Residence Life and Housing, as it is now known, can assist you with that. Student Health, you just had that presentation. Student Activities and Greek Life, if you want to get involved in any student organizations, and there's probably over 100 or so organizations, but if you don't see anything you like or you're interested in, get 6 people together who have a common interest, who'd like to be a student org, and you can form your own student org. Student Activities also host leadership opportunities because that's another reason why you're here. Your academics are equally as important as you develop your leadership because in the global market, people hire people who can lead. So make sure while you're here you take opportunity to develop your leadership skills while developing your academic excellence. Student support services is the area of student affairs that connects students with those basic resources and services that they need in order to be successful. So my colleague, Katie Dietrich, who is the Director of Student Support Services, can assist you, help you, show you, guide you to those services on campus that you may not be aware of, but if you share with her what your needs are or your concerns are, she can help get you there. Her office is also located in the Student Union. Student Union Event Services, that's the hub of the Student Union that helps us to plan and requisition space on campus, helps us to have dining services on campus, and helps us to get space on campus to host different events. So if you're thinking about utilizing any space on campus and you're having an event, you might utilize event services. Now I'm going to quickly move into the bias incident response team. That team is a team of people, it's an interdisciplinary team that students utilize when they experience a bias-related event. That could be an event where a student is called an insensitive name or sees insensitive language written somewhere on our campus, or sees or hears someone who shares a racial epithet. May also relate to religion, where someone says something oppressive or insensitive based on someone's religion, their ethnicity, their culture, their national origin, whether or not they are a student with disability. It could be political thought, it could be points of view. Sometimes we're not as welcoming and inclusive as we should be around the world. So Wright State is a microcosm of the world. We hope you never have to experience a bias-related event on our campus. We also hope that you are never a party to a bias-related event on our campus. So we always ask ourselves, let's think before we speak, and before we speak, let's consider the other person's response. We never want to say or do anything that marginalizes, minimizes, oppresses, discourages, or has the effect, intentionally or otherwise, of being hurtful. Because Wright State is not that kind of place. So if you do, and we hope that you don't, have an incident, you can contact us. We're available online. We have a complete website. Take an opportunity to check out our website. The picture that you see is the cover of our brochure, which is downloadable from our website, that tells you about what we do, who we are, where to contact us. Again, this is what we do to ensure that we continue our mission of being a welcoming and inclusive campus. That completes my presentation. Do you have any questions about anything you saw here today? Well, if there are no questions, on behalf of the Office of the Vice President for Student Affairs, Dr. Dan Abrahamowitz, his entire executive team, and the team in the Division of Student Affairs, welcome to Wright State University, the only Emerald City in the state of Ohio. Go Raiders! Thank you.
Next presenter is here. Before we go and speak with Patrick Amon, I just wanted to let you guys know that if you have any questions about driver's license, Patrick will be the right person to ask. I know some of you are here on international driver's license, or you do not have Ohio State license. If you have any questions about that, you can ask the questions to Patrick, and he's going to be talking about other things you need to be aware of with the police department in the United States. Here, I'll pull up your website if you just want to say hello.
Thank you.
And Patrick, we have an overflow room for students, so we are videotaping it.
Okay.
So if students ask questions, please repeat the question.
Okay, absolutely. Okay, how's everybody doing? Everybody hear me okay? All right, you can probably hear me without the microphone because I got a big mouth. So we're going to cover a lot of different stuff, and the biggest stuff that we're going to cover is I definitely want to get the stuff across that tends to sometimes get some of our students in trouble when they don't understand the answers. But you'll have questions at the end of this. I'll answer those questions. And I'm also going to show you an area of our police website that has my email address. And if you have something that you remember when you leave here and you have a question, you can email me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I'll usually get back with you relatively quickly. So you'll always have a way to get a hold of me. This is our police website, and you just go to wright.edu/police, and this has a lot of tools, and this is the biggest thing that I'm going to focus on in my talk, because a lot of the tools that I want you to know about are here. The first thing, which is the annual security report, and basically what this is a booklet that has safety information in it. It has the crime stats for the last 3 years, and it has a lot of really good information that you definitely want to know. So check out that book, and it's online here. We used to pass them out, but they got really, really expensive. And honestly, when a lot of people read them, they ended up in the trash right after that. So it was a big cost. So we just put it digitally online, and that's there for you. All you have to do is log into the police website to get to it. The next thing I'm going to show you is the crime prevention unit page. And you can look for my big ugly picture right there. And the biggest reason I want to show you this page is two things. Number one, my email address is always going to be on this page as long as I'm here with the department. So to get a hold of my email, all you have to do is find this page. The next thing besides that is if you scroll down, there's a ton of safety information here on a lot of different topics. So you can go to this page, check out all of these different brochures. I've tried to, over the years, about the last 8 years, I've tried to get as much as we can put available to you online. Obviously, sometimes some of the multi-page booklets are a little bit more difficult, but this is most of our safety flyers. And some of them have different languages and stuff. You'll see one of the big language ones is gang information. You know, we really don't deal with a lot of that type of stuff anymore. You know, we'll get clicks here and there, but you know, you may see something, you know, you may know something criminal-wise that happens maybe back in your country, and you might see it happening here around you, and it may be something that I'm not aware of. So, you know, I'm going to give you a few ways. One is my email is a way to share that kind of stuff with me, and I try to keep a good communication with the international students, because very few problems from our international students, very few problems. And when there are problems, most of the time, it's really just kind of a cultural difference. They're not used to what they're able to do here and what they're not able to do. So that's kind of where I try to help you out. And you can check these out on your own time. I won't go through each one because there's a bunch of them. And you can log down here. There's a bunch of other different stuff, parking regulations. The shots fired video. There's four icons. The very last one is a video. And you can click on this, log into this with your W number and password, and this is an active shooter response video. This gives you some of the basic options that you have in an active shooter situation. You can watch this at home. You can watch it with friends. All you have to do is log in to watch it, and there's not any top secret information there. The first three are PowerPoints. This is a program that I used to do for classes, and now we put it available online because obviously no matter how many classes you do, you're not going to get to do a class for every student on campus. It's not going to happen. So we made this available online so that every student would have access to it. So that's something you also can check out on your own time. It's about 30 minutes long, but it's a very worthwhile 30 minutes. And the other ones down here, you can kind of log through. It tells a little bit about our department. The other important one to me that I want to check out, though, is silent witness. And this is real important. How many students are going to be living off campus? How many people are going to be living on campus? Okay? A lot off campus. This is available whether you live on or off campus. Okay? What this is basically a part of our website where you can, if something's happening and it's an emergency, if somebody's being assaulted and you have to have a police officer right there, don't use this, okay? You want to call the police department right away. If you don't know any other number to call 911. But from cell phones, the thing I want you to understand is find out what jurisdiction that you live in, wherever you live at. If you live off campus, then find out if you live in Dayton, Beaver Creek, Fairborn, or wherever it is. Find out what that police department's number is and auto-program that number into your cell phones on speed dial. And then I would also put the police department on campus's number in your cell phones on speed dial. The reason behind this is because if you dial 911 from a cell phone, you're going to get any dispatch center. You may get Greene County, you may get Fairborn. It doesn't always go to the right place. So we want to make sure you get the right place so there's very little delays for you in those situations, okay? So make sure you get those numbers in there. And again, if you ever have questions about anything I cover, or you forget, and you're like, well, I can't remember that one thing you talked about, email me. I'll respond back to you anytime, okay? This is for not emergency stuff. This is for more nuisance stuff. Maybe you know there's been some drug dealing going on somewhere. You know that there's parties every single night in this one apartment, and it's a problem for you, you know, because you're here to study, you're here to get an education, but this one apartment is causing problems every single night for you. This is a way to report some of that stuff to me. And then what I'll do is, even if it's off campus, I'll get with that jurisdiction and see what we can do working with them to try to get maybe some of the problems taken care of for you. Thefts that are past occurred, that maybe you saw a crime happen, and that day you're like, I really don't want to get involved. I'm a little bit worried that if I get involved in this, that it could jeopardize my safety. But then a week later, you decide, well, I don't feel right. I got to report this. This is a way that you can do that anonymously if you don't want to be known, okay? And you can look at some of the crimes here. Alcohol, assaults. Assaults are going to be past occurred. If an assault's occurring right then, call the police dispatch center of the jurisdiction that you're in. This kind of assault would be something past occurred where you didn't report it then because you were afraid or you were concerned. And then other is anything else. If you have information that you feel is necessary for the police to get, then this is a way for you to report it, and you don't have to put any of your information there. You just put the dates, times, suspect information. I would prefer that you put your name, phone number, or email address so I can follow up with you and let you know what's taken place, because otherwise what happens is if you don't see the police come out and deal with something, you're sitting there thinking, well, the police didn't do anything about this. But this gives me a way that I can get back in contact with you, even if it's just email, and let you know, hey, it has been passed on to that jurisdiction. Okay, but that's your choice. You don't have to put any of that there. All right, and then hit send email. I hit send, and right now that's going to my BlackBerry. The silent witness things, they only go to my BlackBerry, and then once I get it on my cell phone, I decide where it needs to go to. So I'm going to get it right away, and I'm probably the fastest responders on a phone at the department because I get those things right away. So that's another option that's there for you. Community notifications. Some things here just to kind of check out. You'll see these throughout the year. These are not to scare you. You're going to see some things on here, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what have I done coming to Wright State? This place is crime infested. You know, I want you to understand one thing, that when you see these notifications, basically what is in these notifications is what we have right off the bat. It's not necessarily what we find out has taken place in the end. We may get something that's reported as a robbery in the beginning. Somebody says, somebody stole my cell phone at gunpoint. Somebody took my money at gunpoint. And then when we investigate that situation, we may find that this person called somebody here to sell them drugs, and then when they came here to sell them drugs, they took their money too, okay? And they don't want to tell us that because they're afraid they're going to get in trouble. So sometimes there may be a lot more behind these stories once the investigation's complete. And we try to make sure that that end result ends up getting on here so that you have an idea how it ended up. But understand that sometimes when it's a robbery, if it's not a robbery, but we don't have enough information to find that out, it's going to stay on the books as that, okay? The thing I will tell you is once an emergency alert comes out, treat it as what it says it is, okay? Don't automatically think, well, that's probably not what it was. I want you to be safe and treat it like what it says it is, okay? Because that's for your safety. We send these notifications out a little different than a lot of places. Some places will only send them out for things that happen on their campus. If something happens close to our campus, we will still send that out if it's a serious crime. And that's important for us because obviously you saw the hands. We have a lot of international students that live off campus. And if something happened and we know about it in your housing area off campus, you want to know about it when you're going home, right? So we want to share that information with you so that you can be safe and make the safest decisions when you're going home, okay? So these things are something you can check out too. There's different things like fire logs. The Emergency Management's website is another site that I would check out. It has how to respond to different situations. Everything from earthquakes to fires to my active shooter information is on there, everything. And I would print a copy of that out. Keep a copy maybe in your bag and then a copy in your room or apartment. Because if you print it out and keep one copy with you, that way you're not guessing if something happens. You know, you at least have a quick reference guide if you don't have a clue what to do. But maybe check that site out sometime and know what you should do, okay, in these situations. All right, that's enough for the website. Down to the general stuff that has affected our international students. And we'll go through this relatively quickly. One of the big things is, I know you're going to have 1,001 questions about driver's license stuff. It always happens, because that's the biggest thing. The big thing to understand is there are some things that they market out there that they call an international driver's license. And it's a little like credit card looking thing that has your photo and all that stuff on it. Understand that that itself does not necessarily function as your driver's license. It's kind of deceiving in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of them that are out there that are meant to deceive our international visitors that come over because so people can make money. A lot of times what those little credit cards are intended for is basically a translation, okay? For your international, your paper international license that a lot of you get from your country, some of them may have went to cards now, but what it is that little card that you get here is a translation of what your international license is so that we basically know the information on there. A lot of times they're wanting you to carry now your visa, passport, and that stuff as identifications along with your license. My advice to you, especially if you're going to be here for any long period of time, is if you're going to be living in Ohio and staying here for at least a year or so, then I would work at getting an Ohio license. The reason I say that is because dealing with the international licenses can get very complicated, and when we start dealing with them can take a lot of your time away from you, and if you get pulled over on a traffic stop and you're on the way to class and you're running late, you don't want time taken away from you, okay? So if you have an Ohio license or a United States license, if you came here from another state in the United States and you're going to be here for a long period of time, I probably would still get an Ohio license. Because what happens is on a traffic stop, we can run that license and things are a lot quicker for you. We're going to get you out of there a lot faster. We're not going to delay you a lot. And that's what you don't want delays, I know. Along with that, with traffic stops, some of the things we've seen in the past, understand that if a police officer pulls you over, the safest things that you can do, okay? And there is a brochure online on our website that will give you a lot of these, but the basics are keep your hands on the wheel when the officer approaches the car, because we don't know you. We don't know if you're a student or if you're from off campus, you know, and if you're moving around in the vehicle, we don't know what is in that vehicle, so it's a safety issue. So hands on the wheel. If you need to get your license or something out of the glove compartment or a different area, let us know that, and then we'll have you go ahead and get that license. We'll tell you to go ahead and do that. And the one thing you definitely don't want to do, and I haven't seen this in a long time, is jump out of the vehicle, okay? We've had times where, again, you're in that rush situation where you're in a hurry to get to class, maybe running late. You might have 3 or 4 people in the vehicle with you, and you get stopped by the police on a traffic stop. And then I had a situation myself where there was 4 people in the vehicle. The people were late for class. Everybody in the vehicle jumps out of the vehicle and heads for class, and then all I've got's the driver there. And I don't know if they're, you know, in a lot of situations, I don't know if they're running from me or going to class or what the situation is. You have to stay there until that investigation's done, and staying in the car is going to make things much safer for you. Now, that situation, I knew what the situation was. I saw very quickly, you know, working on a campus, that it was some of our international students, and I just talked to them, and they understood. So that's one of the things that you definitely don't want to do. Just pull over the safest place, though. If you're being pulled over, it doesn't mean that you have to pull over right there where they activated their overhead lights, okay? If there's a parking lot up close by and you want to get out of the roadway, you know, as long as it's really close and not like 3 miles away, then just pull up and pull into that parking lot. You can get to the safest place, okay? One other thing that we've dealt with is as far as drinking and driving, most people know Well, first of all, in Ohio, if you're under 21 years of age, you are not allowed to drink alcohol, okay? You have to be 21 years of age. If you have alcohol in your possession and you're under 21 years of age, you can be arrested for that. You can go to jail for that. If you have alcohol in your hand outside of an apartment and you are 21 years of age, you're old enough to have alcohol, but you're outside, you can be arrested for that. You can't have it in your vehicle either as an open container, okay? You can have sealed containers in your vehicle, taking them home, but you can't have open containers. Open container of alcohol is a crime, and you can be arrested for that. Along with that, we worry about the driving under the influence of alcohol. We don't want you to do that, but we also don't want you to fatigue yourself to the extent, especially during exam times, to where you don't get enough sleep and you decide to drive, because sometimes driving when you're fatigued and you haven't had enough sleep is just as dangerous as driving under the influence of alcohol. And that's an incident that a few years ago did affect our international students. We had a group that went to another state, there was a car crash, and they were seriously injured. So we don't want that to happen again. Speed is another thing. Understand the speed limits are for a reason, and if you're going way above those speed limits, you place yourself in a risky situation, and we don't want people losing control of their vehicle and crashing, getting hurt, or hurting somebody else, okay, because they were speeding. Along with the good decision and judgment stuff, one incident that I'll mention in the past couple years we've dealt with was seen as a minor thing, but it was a huge thing. We had some students that decided to go, I believe it was to Meyer, and they decided to buy some BB guns. And they bought some handgun BB guns, and it was probably one of the most humorous situations that I've dealt with, but in the same respect, very, very dangerous situation for the students, because when we responded there, it wasn't going to be like BB guns. They bought the BB guns, and they decided they were going to go around their apartment complexes off campus shooting the BB guns at each other. Well, the problem is, when the general public sees guns outside, they don't see BB gun, they see gun. They report it as a gun. They said we have young males outside running around the apartment complex with guns shooting at each other. Then they decided that they were going to get inside of their minivan, leave the side door open, and they were going to drive around shooting at each other. So we get a report that there's younger people running around in a minivan shooting at each other. So we're responding like we have real guns in the area because we have no clue. And understand that if we see a gun, we're going to treat it as a real gun, BB gun or not. The reality is, just because it has an orange tip, that means nothing to us, because we know that there are guns out there now that are real guns that they paint orange so that we think they're fake, so that they can do harm to us as police officers, okay? So we responded to that. Fortunately, it ended up okay. Nobody was hurt, but they got a very, very big counseling session out of that. And needless to say, things like that, when another agency deals with it and we find out, then they'll also get dealt with here on campus too, because that's a very serious situation. We could have, for all purposes, we could have lost a couple students that day because we didn't know that they were toy guns. One other thing I'll throw out there before I ask some questions is another incident. And this applies more to the guys, and this apparently was a culture thing. I didn't find out about it until about 7 years after it had been going on for years and years, and I found out about it at another campus. Understand that things like prostitution, it's illegal first of all, okay? But understand that if you're in class, it's not necessarily the best choice to ask your female classmates or tell them, I will buy you for tonight, because the first thing that's going to happen is it's going to scare them first of all, because they're not used to that. They don't know what's going on. They don't know what's meant, okay? So not a good decision, first of all, because it scares people. But again, something like that, if you're really doing that, it's against the law. So not a good thing. And again, these are things that I've dealt with over time, and I have to throw them out there because the reality is if you deal with something once, guarantee if you don't talk about it and don't talk to students about it, you're going to deal with it again sometime. So I always talk about it at the orientations. One of the last things I'll discuss real fast is just if you're going to go to parties, clubs, any of those places, if you're 21 years of age, obviously you're allowed to drink. Make sure that you get a designated driver who has had no alcohol. But the other thing I want you to be cautious of is there's a lot of very, very dangerous things out there, okay? Understand marijuana and other drugs like that, they are illegal, okay, in the state of Ohio. Along with that, there are drugs out there that if you're in these atmospheres, people will put into your drinks and stuff to take advantage of you. One of the most dangerous that's out there is something called GHB. It's colorless, odorless, tasteless. If somebody puts it in your drink, you may wake up the next day, you don't know what happened, but you've been sexually assaulted. You may see what's happening, but you're paralyzed and you can't move. But watch everything that's going on. These things are out there. So if you are of age and you're drinking, and even if you're not of age and you're drinking something that's non-alcoholic, understand that people can put things in those drinks to take advantage of you. So watch those drinks. Don't leave them unattended. Keep them with you. Cap bottles are always better when you have them with you because somebody can't put something in it without you knowing, but a cup they could if you're not paying attention, okay? So just kind of some general safety things. Understand that there's a lot of strength in numbers if you're going to parties, clubs, or if you're just going for a walk late at night somewhere. Have your cell phone with you, police department numbers on speed dial, and don't walk alone, okay? If you can have friends with you, because those things are deterrents for crimes. A lot of criminals are not the bravest people in the world, and if they have a group of people walking, they're probably going to be less likely to target those individuals for different crimes. Don't carry cash on you when you're out and about if you can afford to not do that. Not a good thing to have a lot of cash on you. And the last thing I'll cover, and I didn't think about it until I was talking, because this was another humorous situation in a class that I spoke to. If somebody comes up to you at some point, off campus, here, wherever, and somebody tries to rob you, okay? There's a lot of confusion what to do if somebody tries to rob you. If somebody tries to rob you and they ask for your money, they ask for your wallet, give them what they're asking for. Don't let them get close to you, throw it to them. That way they don't have to get in close to you, okay? But if you give them that property, most of the time they want your property and then they're gonna get away from there because they wanna make some money off of that situation, okay? We can deal with trying to get your property back, but the most important thing is I don't want you to get hurt. And if you resist them in any way, you're going to turn them into a desperate person, and they're very likely going to hurt you in some way. We don't want that to happen. The humorous part of that was I said that discussion to a group of international students one time. We were talking about robberies, and the international student in response, and that's where I knew we had a little ways to go, said to me, well, once I give them the property and they're running away from me, can I pull out my gun then and shoot at them? And I'm like, no, I don't want that to happen. I don't want any resistance of these subjects because, again, they're not the bravest people in the world. They're probably going to run away with your property and leave you alone and not hurt you. If you resist them, they will hurt you, okay? So there's been a lot of humorous situations. I really, it's really important to me, the relationship that I have with the International Student Office and the international students, so I can't stress enough. If you need my email address online, email me anytime, any question. I'll also stick around afterwards. If you have any questions that you want to know right now, I'll try to get the answer for you. Are there any specific questions somebody has before I leave out of the auditorium? Yes, ma'am. Listen up, everybody. Concealed carry permits. As an international student, the question is, are you allowed to get a concealed carry permit? The answer is you can get a concealed carry permit. The one thing that you have to understand is on campus or contracted property. That includes in your vehicle. You are not allowed to have that weapon, okay, or on your person. As long as you're on campus or any contracted property, which means housing, Nutter Center, and any of those places. If you're off campus in your off-campus housing area, it's going to go back to your apartment or housing policies for that living area, okay? But if you have the permit and you're out and about throughout the city or the state and you have an Ohio concealed carry permit, you can have that weapon with you then, okay? I do a couple classes. I do the ALICE Active Shooter Response class. I do throughout the year. It's free, costs you nothing. And if you have an interest in that, email me and I'll send you the list of dates. And I also do women's self-defense classes, and we discuss some of the weapon possibilities in that. I try to steer people away from handguns because honestly I think there's a lot more effective things out there. And a handgun, while you're trying to defend yourself, there's many times where it can place you in a very, very kind of liable situation if something bad happens, okay? But off campus, you're allowed to have them. Campus or contracted properties, you can't. There are also some businesses that will have placards that you're not allowed to have them inside. Things like courts, federal buildings, things like that. You can't have firearms, and you're not even allowed to have sometimes knives and things like that. They'll take them away from you. So any questions on any of that kind of stuff, if you think about something later, just throw me the question online. I hope that answered you okay. And if you need to find a class, I can also help you find a class if you have an interest in that. Anyone else? Okay, let's go here real quick.
Can you comment on the bicycle use on the campus?
I'm sorry?
Bicycle use on the campus.
Bicycle use. Well, as far as
Parking, locking.
okay, that's a good question. I've never had that brought up, and that's a very good question. Bicycle use on campus. I'll be honest with you. When it comes the first day of class, you're probably going to want to go buy a bicycle because the last thing you're going to want is a car because it's going to be a mess for a while. Bicycle is going to be much more convenient, especially if you live really close. There's obviously things you want to be careful about and be safe about with the bicycles. Understand that the cars are not watching out for you a lot of times, so you have to watch out for the cars. Make sure that the cars are not going to hit you and things like that. But the usage throughout campus, you can pretty much ride them anywhere you want, the bicycles. Motorcycles are a different story, but the pedal bicycles, and there's also, in most of the areas, there's also racks and stuff that you can...
I can add to that.
Yes, sir.
I'm next. I'm on third court. I'm with campus recreation, and we do have a lot of bike racks all over campus. We ask that you don't bring bicycles in the building.
Right.
You should definitely, in title cases, you should definitely put a lock on those bikes.
Absolutely.
But I can tell you from a community standpoint, there is a really nice bike path right behind campus off Common Road that can get you to a lot of places in the area very conveniently. It'll take you all the way to downtown Dayton and a lot of places the other direction as well. And in about a year, they're going to start construction on pedestrian.
Listen up, everybody.
Goes over 675.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen up, everybody. Bikes are a really good way, and actually you'll see over the next few days, you'll even see the police out on bicycles. You'll see them on their police bicycles throughout campus. It's definitely one of the good ways to get around, especially when school's getting first started too. Locking the bikes to the racks, make sure you lock them up good and stuff. The other thing is, obviously a lock's never a foolproof item for a bike, so make sure that you document serial numbers for your bicycles, model numbers, and all that information. That way, if your bicycle is stolen, we don't have them stolen that often, but if it does get stolen, you have all that information for us that you can give to us, and we can try to investigate that to its fullest. Okay, but a real great option. Somebody else up there? Yes, sir.
Yeah, hello. I have two questions today.
Yeah.
First one is that if I'm holding an international driving license, and when I'm applying for a Ohio state license, will I be waived of any of the driving tests or any of the procedures? And my question number two is that once I've got the Ohio state license, and if I move out of state, would I have to again get the license from the state which I'm moving into?
The first question, will you be waived anything from the international license to the Ohio state license? I don't believe so. But I will actually, if you send me an email or if you can find it online, there's a department called the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. It's called BMV. And there's one over in Fairborn. And basically, they will give you an exact answer on that. As far as what they waive and stuff, I don't know for sure. But I don't think it'll be a lot, but it could be. So they would be the experts on that. If you can't find it online, email me and I'll send the link to you. There's usually one in most of the larger cities, but I know there is one in Fairborn. With the second question, as far as moving out of state, some of the international students here may have moved from out of state to this state. Usually, yes, you will have to change that over within a certain amount of time. And like I said, to create less hassle for you, I would say to change it over, because sometimes with the out-of-state licenses, it may not come back with the right information and delays things longer, whereas if you have the Ohio license, it eliminates a lot of delays. So you probably will, but it's not a crazy amount of money, and for the amount of time that it saves you, it's always best to do that. Okay? Somebody up here, where was my person that had a question up here? Go ahead, sir. Okay, if you're still living in Ohio? Okay, Here's the way the license works. Once you get the Ohio State license, if you're living in Ohio still and you're just traveling to another state, that's okay, that's fine. You don't have to get a new license for that. Only if you move to another state. Okay, so if once you get the Ohio license, if you're still living and going to school here and you're just going to be traveling throughout the United States, you won't need to get another license other than the Ohio. Okay, it's only if you move to another state. Any other questions? Any whatsoever? There's no dumb questions. The only dumb question is the one you don't ask. Yes, ma'am. Good question. You're full of good questions today. That's another thing that we discussed in the women's self-defense classes. Mace or pepper spray. Most of the maces that you see, they used to be called mace because it was a different composition. Most of the stuff today is a combination of natural pepper. Okay, and pepper spray, you are allowed to have that on campus. Okay, you can have that on campus and probably have it anywhere off campus. The only thing that I'll tell you is, like any defensive device, make sure that you know how it works. Make sure that you know that if you spray it and the wind's blowing your way, you're going to get a dose of that spray, and it's not very fun. Also know that, don't let other people get a hold of it and play around with it. Listen up, everybody. About once or twice a year, we have students that will be playing around with the pepper spray, usually in housing, and they'll spray it, and then everybody will be breathing it in, and we have to evacuate the building. So just be responsible with it, but you are allowed to have that, okay? Usually the keychain type is what the people prefer to keep on them. Any last questions? Okay, well, thank you for your time. Like I said, I'll stand by out there if you have any questions that you really have to ask right now. And like I said, you know where my email address is at on the police website. Email me anytime, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I'll try to help you out with that. And welcome to Wright State.
All right, our next presenter is here. We have Eric Corbett from the recreational facilities, the campus rec. So if you have any questions about outdoor events or indoor activities, feel free to ask him. And we definitely have many outdoor activities which will be going on during the next 1 month. He will be talking about it in a minute.
Try to go without that, but we'll see.
Oh no, we will need that. We have an overflow room.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So,
Gotcha.
and if
So
they
they'll be-
ask questions, please repeat the questions in here too.
Okay.
Right. I can pull up campus rec if you want.
I'm right there. Just take a second.
Okay. Do you want me to hand out anything?
No, I don't have enough for everybody, so I'm just going to sell them if they're down here.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That'll get your attention, won't it? Well, good afternoon, and as Pat said, welcome to Wright State. We're excited that you're all here. This is actually one of my favorite days of the year. I know many of you came before today, but a lot of our other students are moving in today, and it really feels like we're getting started with fall semester, so that's very exciting for us. My name is Eric Corbett. I am the Director of Campus Recreation, but also the Director of the Student Union. I know many of you have spent time in the Student Union over the last couple days, and I hope you really enjoy your time there. A lot of resources for you there in the building, and we hope that's a second home to you when you're on campus. But I want to talk primarily about recreation, and I want to talk about our facilities as well as the programs that are available for you. Most of our rec facilities are within the Student Union. And if you've been in the union and you've kind of walked around a little bit, you've probably seen most of them. Our most popular area for use is our fitness center. We've got about a 10,000 square foot fitness center that has aerobic equipment like treadmills and elliptical machines and bicycles, as well as free weight equipment and other selectorized plate loaded equipment as well. And that's open for you from 7 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night and 1 to 8 on the weekends. All you need is your Wright State ID card. We do ask that you bring that with you whenever you come to enter the recreation facility. Also in that area, we have locker rooms that are available to you, for you to use to store your clothes, to change clothes, to take a shower if you'd like to after your workout or beforehand. The lockers that are available to you, you can use those in a couple different ways. We have daily lockers, and daily means you can only use them while you're there. So you put your items in there, you go work out, you come back, you take your items out. You cannot leave them overnight. We clean those out every day, okay? Or, for a small fee, you can rent a locker that will last the whole semester or the entire school year, okay? And those, we give you a lock for those. You lock your stuff in there, and you can use it every day when you come and go, okay? We would ask, if you use the daily lockers, that you do bring your own lock, and you should lock things up in there. We don't have a lot of theft, as Patrick talked about earlier. However, when we do have thefts in that area, it's because people didn't lock their things up, or, oh, I left my wallet sitting on the bench. Well, if there is somebody that's a criminal in there and they see it laying there, they're going to pick it up, right? So I encourage you to do that. Also in the fitness center, we have a swimming pool, and that is open for a variety of activities, not the least of which is open swim. So during those hours, you can just come and lap swim. We have lanes for lap swimming. We also have a shallow end that's 3 to 4 feet high where you can stand and play. There's a basketball goal in there, and you can just kind of enjoy that. And then we have a deeper end with some diving boards on the other side as well. We also do some outdoor programming. You mentioned outdoor activities. We will do some kayak clinics in there, teach people how to use a kayak or a canoe. We'll do some fun things like canoe battleship, where you get in the canoe with some of your friends and you try to sink other people in their canoes by pouring water in there. It's a lot of fun. Kinesiology and health hosts some of their classes in our pool. And our varsity swim team, the Raider swim team, use that swimming pool as well. We have a climbing wall, a rock wall gym in the student union. It's open in the evenings from 4 to 8, where you can come and learn how to or practice rock climbing. We also have racquetball and squash courts in the student union, and those you can reserve an hour time block up to 24 hours in advance if you want to make sure you have a court available for yourself. We also have some other more passive recreation spaces where you can play table tennis or billiards as well. And all these activities, all these facilities I'm mentioning to you are free to you as students. I will tell you the billiards, there is a small charge for billiards if you want to use the billiards tables there. But you can use open rec facilities at no extra cost. Your tuition covers that. We have a few more facilities I'll mention. One is we do share some space. I didn't show you any pictures. Look at that. Well, there's one of the climbing wall. None of the racquetball courts on there. Surely we've got one of the swim. There's a picture of the pool. We do share some space at the Nutter Center. There's a 4-court gymnasium at the Nutter Center. That space is shared between campus recreation, kinesiology and health, the athletic department, and the Nutter Center themselves. So we only use those gymnasiums in the evening, so 7 to 11 o'clock at night during the week and 10 to 4 on the weekends. Generally, there's some time to go in there and maybe shoot basketball, something like that. And we do a lot of programming there. There's also an indoor track at the student union. A couple more outdoor areas I'll mention to you. Not a picture on here, but we just opened the Rensselaer Student Sports Complex last year. It's down behind the Nutter Center. We have 2 turf fields that are available for a multi-purpose sporting activity. We play soccer down there, flag football. Some of our sport clubs use that space. It's also, if it's not being used for an activity, you could go down there on your own and run or throw frisbee or do a variety of activities. They're always open to students when they're not being used. And then we have a challenge course, and this is really more for team type activities. There is a 60-foot climbing and rappel tower, as well as some other small wooden elements that we put you through a challenge as a team to see if you can overcome that challenge. And you learn a lot about the people you're working with and a lot about yourself and how you handle adversity and leadership and those kinds of things. And that challenge course is often used by student organizations or a UVC class or a department that want to get to know each other a little bit better and want to learn how they can work together a little bit better. And those are all cool facilities. The other piece I want to tell you about is our programming. First, I'll mention adapted recreation. Wright State has a national reputation not only for accessibility, but also for programming for individuals with disabilities. And we have a graduate assistant in our office that works very closely with the Office of Disability Services to plan these types of activities. Many of them are social, but many of them are physical as well. We'll do things like take a group to the bowling alley off campus. We'll play wheelchair basketball or rugby in a wheelchair in the student union gymnasium. We'll do a variety of other things in the swimming pool. But all those programs are not just for students with disabilities, they're open to other students as well. So if you're an able-bodied individual, you want to try out wheelchair basketball, well, we have chairs where you can get in the chair, try it out. We'll tell you what the rules are and kind of teach you about it and let you jump right in there and try that activity. And I think it's a really educational experience for folks that maybe don't quite understand what those challenges are. But that's our adaptive program. We also have our outdoor recreation program, which you alluded to earlier. Maybe I need to go, there we go here. All right, outdoor recreation program here is pretty exciting for us. Basically, it consists of a lot of different elements. One is we have a rental program. So say you enjoy backpacking or camping, and you don't really want to bring all those things with you to campus, you've got limited space, we can rent those to you at a very low price in the student union. So you can rent those for a weekend, enjoy some of the great parks we have here in the Miami Valley, and bring those back to us on Monday. Okay, so you don't have to worry about bringing your own stuff, buying your own stuff. You can get those at pretty good prices under us: tents, backpacks, cook sets, a variety of other minor pieces of equipment. We also have an educational program that goes along with that, where we offer a number of clinics throughout the quarter or semester for folks that may not be experienced in kayaking or camping or backpacking, or how do I start my fire so I can cook my dinner if I'm camping. So we target folks that don't have any experience in that, and you can get a little bit more knowledge so you can go do that on your own. And the third piece is our trip program. We'll offer a number of programs throughout the semester that you can, at a small cost, participate in. Sometimes they're free, but sometimes if they're overnight stays particularly, there may be fees involved. But that could be something as simple as taking a group of students over to Eastwood Lake, which is just a few miles from campus, and kayaking for the afternoon on the lake. Or it may be as complicated as last week when we took a group of 2 vans load of students down the Appalachian Trail in North Carolina. And we backpacked for a week and did some service work along the trails. We've taken groups to the Grand Canyon. We've taken them to Arches National Park in Utah. We've gone sea kayaking in North Carolina and in Florida. So there's a variety of those opportunities throughout the school year. Obviously, the longer trips don't happen during the middle of the academic schedule. We do those during breaks. So we'll typically offer a trip or two during the winter break, as well as several during the summer and spring break as well. But we encourage you to check that schedule out. And again, those trips range anywhere from one afternoon to a weekend to a week-long trip. Okay? Lots of fun and a lot of great resources down in this area as well. I should mention the outdoor program is managed through the Outdoor Resource Center, and that is located in the Student Union right off the atrium. And maybe you want to do things on your own, but you're not familiar with this area. We have a lot of resources there in that office that they can help you with. Make some recommendations on where you might go if you enjoy rock climbing in a natural setting. If you just want to go for a nice nature walk on a weekend, if you do want to go camping, the folks down in the Resource Center can really help you out and point you in the right direction, even have some maps of some trails and some other areas. And I will tell you, this area of the country provides you with a lot of neat opportunities. Folks don't quite realize that because they see Dayton, Cincinnati, or Columbus as more of an urban area. But there is really a hotbed of outdoor recreation here in the Miami Valley. And a lot of those move beyond our campus to some of our local providers like Five Rivers Metro Parks, who we partner with. And the Metro Parks and Wright State together put on a big outdoor conference in February 11th this year. I would encourage you to come. It's in the Student Union. We'll have over 5,000 people in the building. We'll have a variety of presentations, a lot of local vendors, and local clubs that want to really highlight human-powered endeavors. Couple more real quick, and I will be out of your way. Fitness and wellness. Anybody ever heard of the Freshman 15? Ever heard that phrase? No? Okay. Well, it's long been said that the average first-year college student gains 15 pounds in their first semester because they've moved away from home. They're not eating mom or dad's cooking any longer. They're eating more junk food. They're eating pizza late at night. Heaven forbid they're drinking more beer than they're supposed to, right? They're going to vending machines, which may not have the healthiest choices, right? So it's very important that you not only take advantage of proper foods, but you also exercise. And we provide a lot of opportunities for fitness in our area as well. I mentioned the fitness center specifically, and that's really for self-directed fitness. So you use a fitness center, typically you're going to go in there and do your own thing without anybody really telling you what to do, okay? As long as you're following the rules, you go in, you lift on your own, you prescribe your own exercise, right? Well, we also offer some more directed fitness First is our group exercise program, which we call Rec Fit. And you see a picture here of these ladies, primarily ladies. There may be some men in there that are participating in TRX. We have a variety of these classes that take place basically Monday through Friday, as early as 7 in the morning, as late as 7 o'clock at night. And they go through a lot of different types of fitness, and these are all free, again, to you, and they are all open classes. As long as there's room in the classroom, you can go. You don't have to sign up ahead of time, but I would encourage you to check the website and check the schedule to see if there's some things that would appeal to you. Most of them are aerobic type activities. We also do some group cycling on our spinning bikes as well, but we have 3 studios that we conduct these courses in. So they're great for you to get out there and get a little exercise in with a leader in front of you kind of helping you through that. I would mention, I said the fitness center is self-directed fitness. There's a couple ways we can help you in there. Number one, we have staff in there that can basically help you understand the layout of the room, what the expectations are for your behavior in the room, and how you basically use the equipment, all right, if you're not familiar with it. They will not prescribe exercise for you, okay? They cannot say, hey, if you want to get really buff, you should do this or you should do that. They're not going to tell you that. They're not qualified. But if that's something you are interested in, we do provide a personal training program. Now that does require a small fee, but if you are interested in that, you'll meet with one of our personal trainers. We'll do some basic measurements of you. We'll talk to you, kind of figure out what your goals are, and we can work with you and even at the workouts to help you go through your fitness regimen that they come up with together. So I want you to know that's available for you. Most of the people are self-directed, okay? But you do have the opportunity for more assistance if you'd like that from our folks that are experts in that area. The last area I want to talk about is our competitive sports area. And a competitive sports really incorporates 2 different things from our end. One is sport clubs and one is intramural sports. Has anybody from athletics been in here to talk yet? Have you had? Okay, so Wright State has teams, right? We've got a Raiders basketball team, we've got a volleyball team, we've got a swim team, a variety of others. Those are varsity athletes. Most of them have some type of scholarship. The university supports that activity, buys them uniforms, puts their schedule out, provides the facilities. Those are varsity athletes. There's around 450, maybe 500 of them, okay? Well, we got 17,000 students, and a lot of the other students want to play sports as well. Sport clubs are kind of a step down from varsity athletics, okay? Sport clubs are still athletic, still competitive. They are student organizations. They are registered with the university. They have a president, a treasurer, they have an advisor. Sometimes they have a coach. And many times they will participate in that activity, whether it's ice hockey, football, rugby, soccer. Again, they'll compete against other university club teams, okay? But it's not the same as varsity athletics. These club teams are student organized, student run. They follow the rules of the university, but they basically decide who they're going to play for, how they're going to work their schedule. Some of them even have tryouts and are selective, okay? So we have sport clubs in a variety of activities. The club football team has their first home game September 31st down at Rensselaer. Our ice hockey club has won a national championship at the club level. But we have about 25 different clubs that participate in a variety of activities. So if you're interested in those, you can contact our office. We can get you to the right person. All right, the next level down, so I don't want to commit to sport clubs. Those do typically have dues, so you'd have to pay to participate, right? So I'm not a varsity athlete. I don't want to play sport clubs. There's recreational leagues as well, and we call those intramural sports. So the recreational leagues take place every semester, and they are seasonal. In the fall, we're going to have a flag football league. We'll have a basketball league. We'll have a soccer league. We'll do a variety of other special events. In the winter, we'll do some softball when it starts warming up a little bit. We'll do a number of other things. For intramurals, typically you sign up as a team. So if I want to play in our fall soccer league, we play 6-on-6. I'm going to have 5 friends at least participate with me. Okay, so you kind of got to recruit from your classes, from the area you live in, from folks you know, to put a team together. And you want to go to imleagues.com, and you can find that from our page as well, right there. And that's where you would register to get into that environment. Okay, once you're registered, your schedules, your roster, all your information, your rules will come to you through imleagues.com. If you don't have a team, you can also register as a free agent, as an individual, and a team may ask you to join their team. I think that's kind of it. There's a lot out there for you guys to do. We hope we can keep you busy enough to where you don't need don't need to talk to Patrick Amon too much because you're in trouble, right? Can I answer any questions for you before I leave? Okay, I will say the best place to get update schedules is through our website. I did bring a handful of brochures. Those aren't schedules, but they do talk about all the different activities that we do offer and how to get started on those. Okay, great. Thank you very much.
We have our next presenter from CATS, and Carrie is going to talk about your CATS Wright State Wings account. If you have any questions about how to get to your emails, class registration, anything, feel free to ask her about that.
Hello, everybody. My name's Carrie. Can you guys hear me? Is it loud enough? Yeah?
Both of them together, I think. This is for the overflow, this is for this room.
All right. So I work down in computing and telecommunications. That stands for CATS. We're basically here for all of your computing needs. Anything you need, come down and ask us. We're in the basement, 025 Library Annex, or you can give us a call. On the handouts, our address is there as well as our phone number. On campus, we have both PC and Mac labs. Feel free to use any of them. We also have print write stations, so you can print at most of the labs. You just need to put money on your Write 1 card and go ahead and swipe it next to the printer, and you can print out whatever you need to print for class or anything else. A lot of our classrooms are 24 hours, so you can look online at our website. I'll show you the website here in just a little bit. And then we do have wireless all throughout campus, so you can use your wireless laptop anytime you need to. If you don't have a laptop, we actually have laptops to go, and you can access them on the second floor of the Dunbar Library. You just need to have an active computer account. Those are free, and you can check them out for up to 4 hours. We do have PCs and Macs available. Wings, this is where you can get to anything that you need to get through. I'm going to just log in here for you guys. So your username is the one that always starts with a W. Here on campus, you do have 3 usernames, so I'll go over those for you guys. So the first thing you want to do when you log in is change your password. You will have to change this every 180 days. You'll get an email reminder to do so. Just remember that when you're asked to change this password, this is the only password on campus that you do have to change. So over in the left corner here, My Account, you want to click on here. And then you'll enter your current password, and then you'll choose a new password. Please be aware the password requirements are on the right-hand side. If you guys take a look at those, it has to be between 8 and 14 characters. You do have to have at least 1 letter and 1 number. The biggest mistake people make is they enter in their new password, and they hit enter, and they think they're done. Please remember to scroll down and click down here on the Save Changes. And then this red here will turn green and say you've successfully changed your password. From inside of Wings, you can also get to your email by clicking on the email calendar link. And this is what your guys' email will look like. You do have a calendar as well. You can click on it down here to view. If you want to change your password, you do have to come down to CATS to have that changed, or you can call us and we'll change it for you. Once you do get your password changed, you can also change it again here by Options, See All Options, and change your password. So if you guys, are you guys want to sync your phones with your email? Is there anyone that wants to do that? A couple people. If you do, you can come down to CATS and we'll actually walk you through setting that up. If you want to, the biggest question I get is forwarding your email. If you want to forward your email, again, it's in Options and See All Options. You'll click on the forward email link, and you'll put in your email. Like if you have a personal email address and you don't want to check your Wright State email address all the time, feel free to put in your personal email address down here, and then just click Start Forwarding, and you won't ever have to check this email address if you don't want to. Also from inside of Wings, you can get to Wings Express. Clicking on this link here. And this is where you guys can register for classes. You'll also want to update your personal information, so you'll get a PIN and you'll need to change that. Here's where you can do that. You also want to update your address and your phone number as well. So if you ever do forget your PIN and you need to reset it, you can just reset it online instead of calling us or stopping by. Let me just show you guys. When you do register for classes, you'll be asked to enter your UID and PIN. So your UID is the one that starts with a U, followed by a bunch of numbers, and then you will have a PIN. But again, when you're asked to reset your password, you're not having to reset the PIN. It's just the one that goes with your campus username, the one that starts with a W. All right. Let's go over that with you guys. And then since we are a public university, we do get a lot of spam because our email addresses are public. So we do offer a free spam filtering program. It works really well. You usually don't see a lot of spam in your inbox. However, there are times when you will get scams. A lot of times they'll ask for your username and password. Please be aware that we will never ask for your username and password in an email. So don't ever reply to the email with your username or password. We'll never ask for it. Connect Wright. Everything you guys need to know about CATS you can actually get to by going to wright.edu/CATS. All of our information is listed on this page. But if you go to the Connect Wright CD, you're going to have to enter your campus username and password in. It's hard typing with one hand. So here you can download internet browsers, media players, also antiviruses, and there's specialty software on here as well. So if you don't want to go out to Google and find these things, you can find them right here. So virus and spyware, please be aware that if you're using the wired or wireless campus network on campus, you do have to have an antivirus up to date. So if you don't have one, you don't need to pay for one. You can just go out to the website here and go ahead and download one for free. There are Mac and PC ones available. Let's see. And if you guys want to read more about the IT security, there's the website if you do want to go out to it and see any more information. CATS Home Base, this is designed just for students. You can order software at a discounted rate. We do have Microsoft Office for $19, Windows 7 for $17, and Windows 8 for $18. I'll show you guys how to order those. Once you're logged inside of Wings, you want to click on the Resources tab. And over on the right-hand side, CATS Home Base Software Store. And then you're going to enter the software store. And here's everything you can order at a discounted rate. I know if you go out to a store, Microsoft Office costs a few $100s, so take advantage and order it through here. So you just check this, and then you'll scroll down to the bottom and order the items checked. You can have it mailed to you for $5, or you can come pick it up down in the library annex for free. You just need to bring your Wright One card or a student ID, a driver's license, whatever you have. Homebase also offers computer repair. If you have a laptop or a desktop that has issues, has a virus, you can bring it down and we'll actually evaluate it for free. A lot of the services we offer are free. Some of the more difficult things like a hard drive replacement or OS reinstall do cost money, but it's a lot cheaper than anything outside the university. So please take advantage of that service. And then we also do, if you want to purchase laptops, you can purchase laptops. I believe it's 10% on our website. We do have a little bit of a discount. Atomic Learning. There's video tutorials out here on Atomic Learning for Microsoft Office products or Adobe products if you guys do have questions. And I'll show you that website here real quick. Again, wright.edu/CATS will get you there. If you click on training, and then online tutorials. And you'll click the Atomic Learning link, and it'll ask for a username and password, and you can go ahead and log on there and view online video tutorials. The residence halls. If you guys are living in the residence halls and you don't want to use the wireless all the time, you can connect to the wired internet. You all have jacks in your rooms. It's a little bit quicker. If you don't have a network cable, you can come down to the help desk and we'll give you one for free. And then we do have an adaptive lab on campus, 034 Library Annex. It's right across from the help desk for those in need of it. And then there's our contact information. It's also on the handouts for you guys. Does anyone have any questions? No? All right.
Our last presenter is Mandy. She is from the library. As grad students, it is very important for all of you to use the library for all resources you need. Okay, I lost you guys at pizza, I believe. All right. I know you guys are thinking about pizza, but please pay attention here, everyone. All right, guys, stop talking about pizza. We need you here once again. Okay. I'm going to hand it over to Mandy, and she's going to talk about library, and you all will need to use the library at some point. So if you have any questions about library resources, she's the best person to ask that. Here you go.
Okay, thank you. Do we have sound on the?
Yes, it should be working. And if you need to increase the volume, here is the knob.
Okay,
and
great.
Do you want me to start giving out handouts?
If you want to just leave them there for them to pick up, whichever's easier for you.
Okay, I'll start handing it out.
Okay.
If they need extra, they should come to the library.
Yes. Yep. All right, well, I know I'm the last thing between you and pizza, so I will keep this as brief as I can. My name is Mandy Shannon. I am the social science librarian, but I am also the librarian for international students at Dunbar Library. Typically, what we do during orientations is have you come over for a tour, but since we weren't able to do that today, we thought we would bring a tour to you. So what I want to start by doing is giving you a tour of the library virtually, and then I want to tell you just a few quick things that you should know. As graduate students, as Nam said, it's going to be very important for you to be familiar with the library. Often what we think of with the library are the books and the collections and the things that we have there in the building. But be aware that there's a lot more. There are a lot of resources that you have available to you specifically because you are a Wright State student. So we will be talking about that just as soon as you get your tour here.
Hi, welcome from the Dunbar Library. My name is Mandy, and I'm the librarian for international students. Let's explore how the library can help make your studies easier at Wright State. Walking into the first floor, you'll be greeted by the friendly faces at the circulation desk.
They do that.
Here you can check out books or reserve materials placed in the library by a professor. Oh, you can also check out cameras, tripods, audio recorders, and ebook readers. Stimulate your brain by heading to the group study room where you can wake up with a cup of Starbucks coffee, play a game with friends, or relax with a popular book. Let's move up to the second floor of the library. Here on the second floor, you'll find computers, printing, and scanning. If you have any questions, ask the librarians at the information desk. They're always happy to help students. And speaking of people who are happy to help, the geeks at the staff are eager to help you create websites, movies, podcasts, and presentations. They've even been known to make their own movies in the library. Time to mosey up to the third floor. This is where our books live, organized by the Library of Congress call number. By the way, the Dunbar Library does not typically carry textbooks. Oh, sorry. This is also a quiet study zone. Let's tiptoe up to the fourth floor. This is where you can find the special collections and archives. Find children's books, Chinese books, and more quiet study. Well, I'm out of time. Discover more of the great resources awaiting you here. Can't wait to see you. University Libraries. Look us up.
So that gives you a little sense about what we have physically in the library. and also that we like to have fun over at the library. We're a pretty relaxed bunch of people. But again, we have a lot of resources for you beyond just those books. As I mentioned in the video, the books do primarily reside on the 3rd floor. They are available to check out. As graduate students, you'll see in the handout that you got there's an orange bookmark. And this gives you information about what you need. All you need to bring is your Wright 1 card. You can check out up to 200 items at a time, and you get Wright State University books for 112 days per checkout. You can renew those as well. This website is the library website. If you are on the university homepage, we're right up at the top because we're important, so we click right there. This is what the Wright State Library's website looks like. Here you'll see Quick Search, which is a new tool that we have that searches multiple databases, as well as the Wright State catalog and the Ohio Link catalog all at once. You do also have a brochure in your handout about Ohio Link. Ohio Link is a resource that's fairly unique to Ohio, where the academic libraries in the state are connected. So you don't just have the books and resources we have here at Wright State, you also have access to those at other academic libraries throughout the state. So there's information in that brochure there. You can search the catalog by clicking on this link right here. And then I know what is often of great interest to people is what databases do we have available. If you click on this databases link, you see that we have an alphabetical list, and you can see that we have hundreds of different databases available for you. Also, if you search on the databases and you're curious about finding those that are relevant to your subject, you can click on the subject list and see, for example, what databases we recommend for business students. The last thing I want to show you is this Research Quick Start. This is a great place to get in touch with the resources that your subject librarian recommends for you. Each discipline has a subject-specific librarian. So let's say that you're majoring in engineering. Let's look at electrical engineering. This is something that has we're currently transitioning over. So let's take a look at this one. You can see that there are resources that have been selected, both books, electronic books, databases, and it will also get you in touch with your subject librarian. Over at the side, there's information about different services you have available to you. Anytime, we do have over 100 public access computers in the library. You can check on computer availability and see how many are available. And then you also can find your subject specialist librarians. If you go down here in the bottom, there is a Need Help, and you can click on Staff and find who your librarian is. So, for example, Shemena is the nursing librarian. If you are in nursing, you can contact Shemena with questions. Phil Flynn is the engineering librarian. If you have questions, you can contact him. So you can see throughout, you can contact individual subject librarians. And I will wrap up with this last word, and that is that we do want to welcome you to the library to come see it in person. We are offering for the next week tours throughout the days, starting on Friday and going through next week. There are sign-up sheets out back, conveniently located near the pizza, and they will be housed in UCIE after that. You can sign up for a tour with your subject librarian at a specific time if you are interested. And then finally, I would just say, if you have any questions, please give me a call or an email. There is one of these research guides is specific for international students. My contact information is right there. There's information about the library. There's also some community information there if you're looking for things to do or places to go. We've pulled together some information for you there as well. But you are welcome to contact me at any time. If I don't know the answer and it might be more appropriate for your subject librarian, I'll be happy to get them in touch with you. So that is all I have. Enjoy your pizza.
Okay, I know you're hungry because I'm hungry. So we're gonna wrap this up very quickly, and we'll have an opportunity for you to socialize and meet some of the UCIE staff. And also importantly, I wanted to introduce Dr. Lang Hong, who's Executive Director of International Gateway here at Wright State University. Many of you worked through Gateway to get here, so a lot of hard work has been put in the past several months in terms of this fall's recruitment. And I also want to recognize Dr. Fani Kadambi, who also is Director of International Gateway, so all of you must recognize him as well. So if you want to come and say a few words.
Thank you, Michelle. Well, first of all, I would like to welcome each of you to Wright State. And Namaste.
Great job.
All right. And 欢迎 for the Chinese here. Okay. Now, I would appreciate, on behalf of Wright State, your choice for Wright State for your education needs. Okay. And we are here to make your dream come true. Okay. And we'll try everything we could to make your Wright State stay as a memory for life. Okay. And I know you just came for a few days. There's a lot of events going on. Okay. As the school comes in next week, you'll be focusing on academic. Okay. And we, as a Gateway organization, we stay with you throughout the year. Okay. Try to help you any way we could. Okay. And again, welcome to Wright State. Okay.
Yeah, hi, good afternoon. How many of you have seen me already? I'm just trying to figure out, 10%? Good, okay. Some of you, our office is located in 256 Russ Engineering Center. Since most of the students are in Russ, anytime you guys need anything with respect to immigration or anything, you can come to us and we will direct you to where you got to be. We will be the one-stop shop for all international students. Any questions, it can be anything. Where do I eat? Where do I live? Some of you would have got my email regarding that. Any questions you have, please come to me. If I don't know the answer, if we don't know the answer, we will try to find you the person who can answer your specific question. I've sent you some of you an email last night, all the engineers, saying that there is an event from 2 to 3 in 144 Russ. People who are interested in research in biomedical, industrial, or human factors, the professors are going to showcase the research areas. So if you are interested in a research assistantship or a teaching assistantship, that's a good place to be. We also have the PhD program folks coming and talking about the PhD programs at Wright State in the same room, starting at 3:30. So 144 this afternoon at 2 p.m. in Russ Engineering. Welcome. That's all I had.
All right, enjoy your lunch.